Hello, 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 and welcome to yet another episode of WhickTV, a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about topics political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. And today, we're going to be talking about something culturally relevant. The ethics of being the other woman. We're going to talk about cheating, gang. Is it ever okay? What does ethical cheating look like? We're going to be talking about if someone who isn't in a relationship is sleeping with someone who is that person doing anything wrong at all? I don't know. And we're going to find out together. Doobie will be joining us shortly. He's running just a few minutes late, but he has DM'd me. And yeah, we're going to talk about it, right? But the people who are here, thank you for being on time. Thank you for showing up. And I'm excited to kind of get into it. I might go in a little bit of a weird order here. So bear with me. Just pay attention. We're going to allow you a brief introduction, tell people who you are, and your initial thoughts on the question and the topic. And we're going to start. We're going to start with FK.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. I've been on here a couple times now. I'm just average FK everywhere. I'm going to be taking the stance that cheating, although usually bad because there's a lot of negative consequences to it, can be done in a way that not only provides a better fulfillment to yourself, but can provide better fulfillment to your partner as long as you do it in the right way. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
we'll go from there.
Right way. We'll find that out, I'm sure, during discussion. But thank you for being here. Looking to forward to seeing what else you got to say, and we'll get into it, I'm sure. Next up, we have Ginger. Go ahead.
Hi, I am 𝕵𝖎𝖎𝖙. My take is that it is immoral to help somebody cheat on their significant other, regardless of what the situation and circumstances are. Once you find out that they're not single, break it off.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here, and we'll get into it when we go. Ginger, always a pleasure to have you on. Next up, Space Warrior Extraordinaire, Hannah. Go ahead. Hannah, go ahead.
You're good.
Uh-oh.
She muted herself. Did you
muted
mute yourself?
Am I muted?
Oh, you're good now. Okay, you said and then we heard nothing.
Do you have push to talk on?
I'm using it right now. Yes, I have the button pushed. Okay. My opening statement is going to be very, very brief. Just shortly, there's nothing wrong with being the other woman or other man or other person. Let us be inclusive of our language. That person did not enter a contract of that marriage. Thus, they're not breaking any rules of that relationship or marriage.
Oh, you cut out again. Unless you're done. Oh no, this is a problem.
Finished my sentence.
Oh, okay. It's hard to tell when you cut out and when you don't, but we'll get it. We'll get it done. Thank you for being here, Hannah. Always a pleasure. Space Warrior Extraordinaire. We'll get into it in the open, I'm sure. Next up, we have Small Peanut. First time guest on my show, but hopefully not last time. What are your thoughts?
Well, hi, I'm Small Peanut. And I honestly think cheating in general is just not okay. But when it comes to if you're cheating with somebody who is married, you are helping break that contract of marriage, regardless if you signed up for it.
Okay, short and to the point. And we like that here. Speaking of short and to the point, Miss Millie, what are your thoughts?
Nice call out there. I like that. Yeah. Hi, I'm Miss Millie, Miss_Millie. You can find me just about anywhere. And my statement is that one, cheating is wrong. And if you are aware that you are helping someone cheat, that it is in a relationship, not only are you disrespecting the other person within that relationship, but you're disrespecting the sanctity of the relationship and marriage itself. So you are ethically wrong in this case. And you shouldn't be doing that. So yeah, knock it off.
I guess I'll start us off by asking a simple question. Do institutions such as relationship and marriage deserve respect from people outside of those institutions? What about the institution of a relationship deserves any respect from anyone that hasn't voluntarily entered into one?
Yeah, absolutely. So you should definitely be respecting that, whether it is just relationship, and even more so a marriage. Do and Hi, Jibby. So you should definitely be respecting that because they have made a commitment to each other. In this case, especially if we're talking about if it's a close relationship, if it's an open whatnot, they've made their decisions on how they want to handle that. But if it's a closed relationship, you would 100% be respecting that, because even if that person in the relationship is coming up to you and trying to engage in any romantic or sexual relationships with you, if you're involving yourselves with them, you are helping to disrespect that other person in the relationship that is unaware of this occurring.
Okay, Doobie, you got here a little late, but that's okay. We just finished opening statements, so do you have any opening thoughts on being the other woman or man or non-binary individual? Is it ethical? Is there such a thing as FK has alluded to as ethical cheating? And should we respect the institutions of marriage and relationship if we are not within them? Go ahead.
No. I think it's totally fine to fuck another person's wife, husband, girlfriend, whatever it is. I think if I'm not in that relationship, I haven't made any promises. I haven't made any commitments. I have no responsibility toward that relationship. I think it's silly to hold me accountable for the other person choosing to risk their relationship in some way. I think the extent of my like moral obligations are like my actions. Right? I don't have any obligation or responsibility for her actions if I were to fuck someone's girlfriend. So that's it.
All right. Okay. Thanks for being here. Mudit Agaro has paid me $2 to give you a special thanks. Special hello to Doobie. He is a big fan. So there you are. Thank you for the $2.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And gang, if you have questions during this and you're in my YouTube chat, you can super chat me and I'll try to get the questions to the audience. If you're in the Twitch chat and you throw me a bunch of bits, I'll try to get to them. No promises, but we'll do our best we can. So yeah, what do the rest of you think? So we got Millie's take. We got Doobie's take. What about the rest of you? Do institutions deserve respect? Go ahead.
I mean, it's just... Go ahead.
No, you can go.
Oh, okay. We say it's an institution, but it's more like a contract. And at the end of the day, if two people have a contract, one person goes, "Hey, I'm going to pay you $7.50 an hour to lift this rock and move it there," and somebody else comes by and lifts that rock and moves it somewhere else. It's not the end of the world.
The way that I kind of see it is, let's say, like, would you want some? Okay, sorry. Kind of like do unto others what you would want done to you, kind of thing. Where it's like, if you were in a relationship, would you want to be cheated on? If not, why would you go and like help somebody else cheat?
I think I would just satisfy my girlfriend or my wife, and so she wouldn't want to cheat with other people. No, she wouldn't want other dicks.
Well, obviously, yeah, right. That's what we all wish for when it comes to a relationship. But there are people that are just gonna either they're in a bad relationship or they can be in the most perfect relationship and still feel like they want to go and get an itch scratched by someone else, right? And when those situations happen and someone approaches you and says, "Hey, sweetheart, by the way, I've got a ring on my finger. I'm with someone else, or but whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck about it. Let's hook up." Like, if someone was doing that to me, I'd be like, "Ew, one, you are complete shit show and piece of shit for trying to cheat on someone. And I want nothing to do with you because I don't know what's on the other side of your relationship." No. Why? Why should I think them?
Because so if someone were to cheat on you, so if your husband were to cheat on you, for example, some girl just hit him up and he was open to this, you should actually be thankful for the girl doing this because this implies that he's loyal to you in a ton of other ways, probably, right? If he's willing to just sleep with some lady, and break your trust, why wouldn't you do that in other places? So it seems like the relationship was doomed anyway. You might as well get out of it now than wait another 10 years where it blows up in your face.
So yeah, if I'm the spouse being cheated on, like, yeah, I'd be like, okay, yeah, cool. But, I'm still not going to be happy regardless of finding out. I'm not the person that's going to go after them and like attack them and be like this crazy fucking, bitch and be like, like I'm gonna beat the person that helped cheat on him. But there are plenty of people out there that will do that. So it also comes down to protect yourself. Make sure you don't get yourself involved in other people's drama, because you don't know what crazy spouse is on that end that's going to try and come after you, because they're going to try and put the fault on the person that engaged with that person and skip over the actual spouse that cheated. Because let's be honest, the one that we all know that the person that is doing the cheating is 100% at fault, but also the other person that's engaging with them is helping to engage with that action. I don't want to be that person that's doing that. I would feel disgusting. It would cause so much mental grief. I would feel terrible, especially if there were children involved with it. Like I would hate to be the one that goes in there and helps to destroy a family.
I don't like this framing that it's always just going to be like this destroying a family. I could see situations where somebody might, like, let's say that their wife doesn't like to do certain things, or they're just not feeling fulfilled in a certain way, but they really like the whole having the family, having that whole environment there. So instead, they just step out, they get their needs fulfilled somewhere else, and then they come back. As long as like this isn't something that's like coming back to the wife, they're taking the proper steps in place to like make sure that people aren't getting diseases or some type of viruses being spread around. I could see people getting their fulfillment and then going back and like passing on that same happiness they're feeling to the rest of their family.
But what happens when it does?
Or even situations where, like, say one of the spouses has a job where they have to travel a lot, and they both like to have a little comfort and intimacy, or scratch that need while the other is out of town or while they're apart. Is that?
So what we're saying is that we're saying all the wives that are married to the military men, they're fine for going out and cheating on their husbands or their wives whenever their husbands are deployed.
Just real quick,
that's totally okay.
Just real quick, before we go too far, $20 from Lesson Cell to say this: the institution of marriage should be respect, but the people who should respect it are the two people involved in it. If a third person comes between it, it is the responsibility of the two people in the contract to uphold it.
Continue. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Well, I just want to add something real quick. Well, if they want some time alone when their partner goes out of town or whatever, or something like that, then talk about that in the relationship and maybe think about maybe opening it, not cheating. You can talk about these things and opening it. If the person you're with, even if it's not a marriage, doesn't agree to open it, when you're gone, I might want to go be with other people, then break up with them instead of cheating on them. That's so much worse.
Yeah, I would say
so
that
you condone someone giving you that 3 a.m. phone call of saying, "Hey babe, we're broken up, I'm gonna go get my dick wet." Do you really want people treating their partners in that callous of a way?
I didn't say that.
She said the exact opposite of that.
She said that they should break up.
I said that if you did not have
you should break up.
Let me finish what I said and repeat it so that you can understand it. So I said that if this is something that you think about when your partner goes away and if they travel for work, then talk about maybe opening the relationship. And if you cannot come to an agreement about that, then they should break up. That is the smart thing to do instead of
I think that's unethical, actually.
Yeah,
I think you're actually causing harm that you don't need to harm. Yeah, you're causing harm that you don't need to cause, right? If you can just go sleep around in secret and they never find out, they never find out, right? Nobody's hurt. You get what you need.
They never find out.
They carry on with their life.
Hey, one at a time. Stop. One at a time. I want Ginger to have some space to have her response, and then you can all respond to it. Ginger, go ahead.
Look, this is something that should be talked about before you enter into marriage. This is something that you should talk about while you're dating. And if the person doesn't align with your viewership, you should fucking go on to somebody else. Don't be fucking selfish and ruin somebody else's life and possibly your children's lives because you want to get your vagina or your dick wet. Like, let's not say that, oh, well, then you're breaking up a marriage. You shouldn't even enter into a marriage if you want to be with other people, but your spouse does not.
I don't think that's true. I think sometimes there are relationships that exist, right? Obviously, where maybe people just don't have the sexual spark, right? But they love each other in other ways.
But
right?
if
So
you
they
don't
want to
have
be together,
sexual spark with somebody, then you have to talk about.
You can still be in love with a person
before you
It's
marry.
called working on a relationship.
You don't need to hurt them.
People think that there should be communication
Cheating
between.
on them
No, I think you shouldn't hurt the person that you're in love with, right? So if you can just get that, it's scratch somewhere else without hurting them, without hurting anybody else. Totally consensual.
Okay, I have a
No,
question.
Here's where the issue that's like, this is where the split's happening between everyone here, right? Like, for a lot of more traditional like families, for a lot of things that happen like in the background, the big issue with cheating isn't the fact that somebody was cheating. It's the fact that you're bringing like shame onto the family because that shit gets out there in public and people find out. Like you're hurting them by making it like everyone's business. You're hurting them by going up to them and being like, "Hey, I don't find you attractive. I don't like you that much. I just want to get my shit scratched somewhere else. I want to do my shit somewhere else." That's fucked up. If you could just go out of your way, be like, "Okay, listen, I'm going to do everything I can to make my family as happy as possible. And like, there's some stuff that I'm going to do for me personally on my side." I don't think that's the end of the world as long as you're at the end of the day going back and maximizing their happiness.
Are you telling
There's
that person
there's
that you're
one
cheating?
thing. There's
Wait, are
one
you
thing
telling them
of
that you cheated?
Why would you hurt them for no reason?
You're hurting them by doing the act itself.
No, they don't have to find out. You're not hurting.
Let me ask. Stop. Okay, let me ask. Because I'm curious, Peanut. I'm curious. If someone cheats on you, but they take all the precautions, they're using protection, they're not getting other people pregnant or anything, and they never tell you about it, and you never find out about it, how have you been hurt? Can you point to the harm?
I'll be honest. I can't point to the harm in that because they're not telling me, so I would be unknown. I would not know. But the thing is, most of these things, when is their scenario when they don't find out? Because I usually hear that most of the time they find out one way or another.
I've cheated on lots of girlfriends and never found out.
I personally would feel guilty too. Me personally, if I did that and I would feel guilty.
Beta.
Yeah, you don't have to do
Okay,
it.
I'm a beta, dude.
No, that's
care.
fine. That's fine that you feel guilty, but using your guilt, right? Like, is it ethical because you feel guilty to then someone who isn't hurting to give them information that then hurts them?
Yeah, some people feel guilty about like anal sex, right? Like I don't care that you feel guilty about a thing. I don't feel guilty about it. So why should
I'm
you
not
do
going
it?
to stop doing
So
that with
you're
people.
saying,
Okay.
wait a minute. So you're saying by me telling them does hurt them? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you'd be hurting
Here's
them
the thing.
unnecessarily.
Here's the thing that you guys are missing.
Maybe
One of the things is that even if the person is unaware, you've still disrespected that relationship because you decided to make a promise, you decided to make a vow, you decided to sign your name on that piece of paper and say, I'm going to be loyal to you and solely you. So whether they find out that you've cheated on them or not, you have still harmed them because again, there's that risk of them finding out, right? You don't know what that other person that you went and slept with is going to do. They may over time. It could be a week from now. It could be 10 years from now. And the guilt just continuously builds up, or the guilt builds up in yourself. And then you're like, you know what? Fuck. I'm going to I need to finally tell them.
That's
and
my
then
decision.
you do. And then when you do, they feel that person that finds out that they've been living in an entire lie. Okay. Because you've disrespected
Which is why you wouldn't tell them.
Okay,
That's
but
exactly
it's
why
not
you
even
wouldn't tell
just you telling them, but you've already engaged somebody else into that relationship at that point. So what if the other
bring
person
them around.
does?
That's
Engage them in
Slide-
your
so-
relationship.
But it's not even keeping them around or
knows
whether or not they
anything
stay
about your
around.
relationship,
That other
you're being sloppy as fuck.
person can find them. Everybody's on social media, right? At this point, they've got Facebook,
Yeah, you can
Instagram,
lie
Twitter,
about your
whatever
name.
it
You
is.
can lie about everything. What are you talking about? Like you could put a fake
They
name
can
on
still
Tinder.
find you.
You don't even you don't even need to do that, right? Like literally, they never need to find out. If you're sleeping with somebody who there's any possibility at all that they'd ever meet your partner, you're just being sloppy. Right?
That's
You're fucking up.
So what you're saying is
that
okay. So yeah,
they don't even need to know your name. Okay, they don't know your name. They don't need to know where you live. Don't need to know anything about you.
Wait, Millie, here's the issue.
Yeah,
that is the problem. If you are going to cheat, be better. If you're going to cheat, you have to
how about
understand.
just
Like,
don't
wait.
cheat?
If you're going
How
to cheat,
about
you have to
don't
understand.
cheat
If you're
in the
going to
first
cheat,
place,
you have
right?
to understand. Like, there's a lot of risks that come with this. The reason I'm cheating is to do this other like beneficial thing. So I'm going to take the steps necessary, right, to not harm my family.
Just in general, just don't fucking cheat. Don't be a piece of shit.
If you're going to cheat,
Don't
and
be a
sloppy,
piece of shit. Don't cheat in the first place, okay? And if you feel the need to go and cheat on your partner in the relationship, how about you just leave that fucking relationship? It's probably gonna it's gonna cause a lot of harm, but it's also gonna cause a lot more.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it just real quick. Let's bring it back. The question isn't about the person who is in a relationship, right? We could talk about that, and I want to, right? But I also want to talk about the person who isn't in the relationship, right? The person who, the other woman, so to speak, right? So again, you haven't made any commitments. You haven't made any promises. You haven't entered into any contracts. You haven't agreed to shit, right? Why, or is it at all unethical if someone approaches you, right, and say, hey, I'm married, but I got this itch. I got to scratch it. I trust you, right, to be discreet. Okay. You mind? Why is that unethical? And two things, though. I've been paid $5 from Rude Mudcrab to say, dudes acting like drinking and driving, speeding through a city is only unethical if you crash a car. Second, Garwal says maximizing happiness is a non-factor when it comes to moral decisions, as morality pretty much always asks to sacrifice happiness for greater good. Okay, and with that, to my question. Do you guys remember my question? Do I have to repeat it? I don't want to, but I will. Oh my god.
I remember.
I'm
My
giving
position
somebody
is the
else
same.
an
I'm good
opportunity
moving
to
on.
speak,
Yeah.
Okay.
essentially.
Yeah.
Tell me why I should be responsible for someone else's contract.
Yeah. It's like I said earlier.
You have help assisted in breaking that contract.
So
I didn't
No,
make the
it's not even-
contract. I never signed it. I never said I do. Why am I?
I didn't
responsible for
say that you
withholding of
signed
that
it. I never
contract?
said that you signed it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you helped to break that contract. Okay.
No, I didn't. I didn't do anything.
Yes,
The
you
other person
did.
made the
Yes,
decision.
you did. Yes, you did. What do you mean you didn't? Like, 100%.
Bro, you were just there. You were just
I didn't
there.
break the contract.
You helped.
Yeah,
insist
I was
they
just there.
can't.
Someone runs
Okay,
a stop
they can't
sign
cheat.
while
They
I'm
can't
standing there.
cheat
I'm
by
not
like
responsible for their foot on the pedal.
like they're if they don't end up finding anybody to help them cheat on, then they're not breaking the contract, right? Like all
Well, I
they're
would
doing
say
is just freaking
emotionally
using
they
toys on
already
themselves,
know.
right?
Well,
They're just
I
going to
would-
the bedroom and
Do you
just
guys think that he's only breaking the contract if he does the action? Would he not be breaking the contract and just like wanting to cheat on their partner?
There is emotional cheating too, in that
Yeah.
sense.
Well, I mean, yeah, emotional cheating though is different than wanting to cheat on somebody. Like thinking about it and being like, oh, it'd be nice to like hop
Well,
in
no,
the bed
this
with
is
somebody else right now is different than
No,
like
but Millie is describing a situation where the person has already gone out and is seeking a person. They've already like committed to the fact that they're going to cheat and break the contract, and then there's being blame put on the person who is quote unquote like an accessory to the crime of breaking the
they
contract.
are an accessory.
You are
Yes.
helping it.
how is that
Yeah.
not an accessory? I mean, regardless of whether you think that they're to blame or not, which I don't think that they're to blame. I feel like the person in the relationship is the one to blame, and the person that is helping them is just secondary to that. Like I feel putting all your energy onto the person that's helping your significant other cheat instead of putting it onto the person that actually cheated is ridiculous. But I actually
my
do.
first
I'm sorry. I actually do a little bit agree.
Please finish.
Finish, Ginger, and then Hannah can respond. Go ahead.
I actually do agree with the fact that if you are going to cheat and continue to cheat and you have no like desire to stop, you should stop. But if you don't have a desire to, or you do have a desire to stop and you only cheated that once, there's no necessity for telling your significant other. You can go ahead.
Acreal has spent, well, just for real quick, Acreal's paid me 250 bits to say, except you
read
can
that nerd shit.
Except you can take all the precautions you want and still get an STI, or still get someone pregnant, or still get caught. Your partner is also receiving some of this risk through proxy, and not giving them the opportunity to choose to take that risk or not is a violation of both their freedom as a human being and their bodily autonomy/safety. Not to mention a violation of the contract you entered into when you started the relationship. That's a good point.
I think Acreal is really stupid.
Just real quick.
Can I ask the question?
Just real quick, I want to give everyone a chance to answer the question, but first I would ask the people who think cheating is okay or being the other woman is okay. I want to ask you, what about that, right? Like this person has not consented to the increased risk you're putting them, because again, all the precautions you could take, all the precautions in the world, but at the end of the day, sometimes as careful as you are, mistakes happen, right? So what about that? Like how do we square that circle? Go ahead.
I'd wonder if Acreal thinks that we should ask for permission before like taking a trip down the road to McDonald's or Starbucks or something. Because when I get in that car, I can take all the precautions I want. Someone can still drive into me and kill me, and leave my partner in the lurch financially, emotionally, etc. Right. So it seems like you're speaking as if every increase in risk or any increase in any kind of like chance of anything going wrong requires them to consent in some way, which is fucking ridiculous. Like obviously.
I was gonna say, yeah, I thought it was disingenuous. Realistically, right, we don't expect like a husband to get into an argument with another guy and then immediately everyone goes like, oh, why didn't you think about like your wife at home? Why didn't you think about your kids at home? All of these extra things. at the end of the day, there's risks that are taken. I said it initially, right? You can mitigate those risks to a very high degree. And like, I'm going to be honest. Okay, hear me out. Albanian men never cheat, right? I would never personally cheat. But if you want to cheat, get away with it. Be smart about it. Like, do it somewhere else. Do it at a place where like your partner's not connected to these people. Do it somewhere where like it's probably never going to get back to you. Get an STD test, right? Make sure the other person is tested. Don't do it with people who are probably like low value. And I say low value not as in like socioeconomic class or something, but I say it as in like people who probably are going to put you at a higher risk. Just be smart about it.
What are your thoughts here?
Well, we had reframed the conversation that we're talking about the other person, not the cheater. And in that case, I have to agree with Juby of everyday life has a certain amount of risk. The second you get out of your bed, hell, even staying in your bed has a certain amount of risk to your health. Just existing has a certain amount of risk. And the best that we can do is try to mitigate and diminish that risk as much as possible.
Okay. To the other team, quote unquote.
Yeah, this whole idea of this risk, right? Anybody who has a brain can understand that, like, if you get in a vehicle, you're going to be taking on some risk. Anytime that anybody goes out and does anything, there's going to be a level of risk to that. And we already know that. Whenever we're in a relationship, we're like, yeah, I know if you get into a vehicle, there's a risk of you getting into an accident and getting severely injured or passing away. I'm aware of that. But the thing is that I'm not aware of the risks that you choose to take on by possibly putting yourself out there, because you can go through all of these steps to mitigate it, but there's still a chance of you getting it. I'm not choosing. You are taking my choice away and my understanding and my knowledge of that risk away from me of receiving an STI through you, because you decided to go out and cheat. You decided to take that on. So look, we can sit here and, all realize that and not be brain dead regarding this topic. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Fair enough. Here's 10 pounds. The British person has asked me to say this. I married a woman I loved deeply 17 years ago. We had 2 kids, and over the years, we both felt completely unloved. I was pushed out, like I literally left our apartment, and then I, quote-unquote, emotionally cheated on her by starting an online relationship with another woman. I still support her and my kids unconditionally, both with love and finance. Where does this fall in your judgment, panel?
They were, in my opinion, they would be separated.
Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean?
They're not living in the same house. They're not interacting with each other. Like, only he said he takes care of the kids. He, like, financially or whatever.
Why isn't he still under that contract?
Yeah, like,
if they
isn't
haven't
that still
actually
cheating?
Divorced or agreed to see other people.
I would consider that not living in the same house and not, like, whatever, be separation. That's what I would, like, I mean, yeah.
But separation doesn't mean you can sleep around, right? If someone's in, if they're, like, in a marriage. Maybe they're taking a break for a while, but that doesn't mean they're sleeping around.
Somebody might be separated because they can't afford to get a divorce.
Could be. But if they haven't made that clear in their relationship, why would you be okay with him sleeping around?
Well, we don't know if they've made it clear.
It seemed like he was accused of cheating, so it seems like it was clear.
Yeah.
No, did he say was that cheating, or did he say she accused him of cheating?
He said he was accused of cheating because he was talking to an e-girl. And you got to be careful with e-girls. They're very dangerous guys.
Can you please re-say that just so I can make sure I'm
Sure.
Also, if she's accusing him, that's a break in the contract right from their end.
Okay, well, the exact words are, I was pushed out, like I literally left our apartment, and then I emotionally cheated on her by starting an online relationship with another woman, is what he says.
I mean, if she pushed him out, then what's the problem?
Wait, so if you get into an argument with your wife, and then that same night you go out and just sleep with another woman because your wife goes, like, I don't want you at the house tonight, is that okay?
No, I mean I'm sorry if I misunderstood, but wasn't the scenario that like he had his own place?
Yeah, that's
because
what I'm assuming.
they were separated, and so he decided to go hook up with somebody, and now
It says nothing about
he's in
having an
trouble
own
for that?
place. It says nothing about having an own place or anything in the thing.
Yeah, it just says he was pushed out.
I mean,
I could be wrong, but I assume pushed out is like an argument, or they were into
if you're
like a fight.
arguing and
It's an
you go
argument, then
and
it's
have
cheating.
sex because you have an argument, I think you're a child. Like,
But I'm curious though. So like, let's say she did push him. Let's say he had a different apartment because they hated each other so much they just couldn't live with each other right then and there. Had no divorce. Hadn't agreed to see other people. Would he be not only would he be cheating, but would the person he cheated on her with, doing the e-dating thing online or whatever the fuck he was doing, is that like unethical?
I
If
don't
she
think either
knew,
one of them are unethical at that point. I don't.
why?
Does anyone
Because-
But
disagree
they
with
hadn't
that?
agreed to see other
Okay,
people.
wait a minute. So the definition of marital or separation is when a spouse and a marriage stop living together without getting divorced. So they're not living together. By definition,
Yes,
they're
but they're still
separated.
married. They're still married
That-
in a
that's
relationship
what, that's
with
what that
children.
means. Marital
That doesn't.
status.
I understand it, but that doesn't
But
mean
you
they can
don't.
sleep around, which is why he was accused of
Wait, do you
cheating.
guys care?
We're
Wait, do
following
you guys
along.
only
This is
care
very
about this
simple.
on like a contractual level, where it's like only
No.
the very specific
No, I don't
definition
care
of a
about
marriage?
it on an
No.
contractual. I don't necessarily see it as like the contractual level is the issue. I think that if you're the type of person that you know that you're going to step out, there are plenty of beautiful women who don't care about that type of thing. Set your sights on them. Like, why do you have to go for somebody who wants a commitment from somebody and
I
you're
want
going
a
to tell
commitment.
them, shut up. You're going to tell them that you're going to commit to them at the wedding and you know damn well that you're not going to. Why? Why are you
Maybe
this
you don't.
selfish?
Maybe it's like a few years down the road and the
Yeah.
fire's just gone.
We're
No,
having
no, no,
trouble.
no, no,
We're
no,
having
no,
trouble.
but
I'm
okay,
gonna fight.
okay.
Wait,
All right,
wait,
all
wait,
right.
wait.
I have an issue whenever people keep saying like this fire's out, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
You've made a commitment to someone, right? And you've decided that whether or not that this fire burns out or whatnot, like we have agreed in this commitment to work at it because can we agree that a relationship takes effort from both sides to continue that fire, the butterflies and the tummies or whatever, right? You still have to engage, communicate with your partner, treat them as if you were still like dating them, right? Like
That's how
that's what I
marriages
would want.
last
I
20
don't,
years.
That's idealistic.
yeah,
That's
I
not-
don't, I don't
No,
want
they
that.
last
That's
20
some movie
years.
shit.
Sometimes they last 20 years because what'll happen is people might get into an arranged marriage and then the guy might step out a lot. But like, guess what happens in their
Okay,
in
we're
those
not
cultures?
talking
They
about
wait.
arranged.
But
We're not
wait,
talking
somebody
about
said that.
arranged
Let me
marriage.
finish. Right? In
Who
those
said
cultures,
arranged
they
marriage?
realize it. I'm not saying arranged marriage. It's how do marriages last 20 years? That part. Sometimes it's because they're in arranged marriages. The marriage, like, it works really well for a lot of other aspects, but there's some aspects that just might not be like congruent for both partners, right? So what happens is one of the partners might go, you know what? I'll step out. I understand stepping out has all these other risks, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to mitigate those risks. I'm going to keep the shit on the hush hush because I don't want like to bring like some shame to my other partner. And then I'll get fulfilled there. I'll come back and I'll just continue fulfilling every other role I need to fulfill. I don't think that's that bad, but you guys make it sound
Yeah, and
like
if I
it's
were
the
to
end
meet
of the
someone
world
like
to do
that-
that.
You can't
If I were
be
to meet-
monogamous
so for
and
example,
don't be in a monogamous
If I were to meet
relationship.
Wick's girlfriend, right, and she loved Wick with all her heart, they had a great time together, had all the same hobbies and interests. He loved her very much, and she loved him very much, but she just couldn't deal with his dick. It was too big. She just couldn't deal with it, right? So she had to get that from somewhere else, and she found me, and I was like, hey, that's totally fine. I have a reasonably sized dick. It'd be okay.
Yeah, you know, frogs.
so she-
Yeah, I'm
they're
definitely,
average.
I helped her out with
taking
that.
this as a small dick
Hush,
game,
hush,
Doobie.
hush,
all
hush,
right?
hush, hush. Wick got to keep his girlfriend or his wife or whatever. She got to stay with the man she loved, and she got the itch scratch somewhere else. Like, what's wrong with that?
She's
So-
cheating.
It's cheating.
I
At
think
the
that
end
You
of
guys are putting so much weight on the sexual part of a relationship as if
Okay,
it's
question.
like the
Have
only
you
thing
been
that
cheated
matters.
on? Doobie, have you
Yeah.
been cheated on?
Yeah.
Are you
Doobie's not gonna care.
upset?
Doobie's not gonna care. Or you're
Yeah,
asking the
of
wrong
course.
person because Doobie's not
That's true.
gonna care. Because Doobie
Oh my God,
obviously has
that's not-
stated that he's gone out and cheated.
Actually,
Wait, has
no,
anyone
no, no,
here-
Doobie,
Yeah,
Put
you
your
guys
hand
are
up
gonna
if you
treat me like
want
I'm
the
not
other
even a
person.
human.
Stop!
Can
Stop!
everyone
Stop!
here put their
Stop!
hand? Oh.
Stop! Okay, I want to get some order here. I have a question, right? Okay, so I have been cheated on before. It hurts. I'll admit to that. It sucks, right? Violation of trust. Violation of what you thought was a relationship. It turns out, no, it wasn't, right? That said, you know what else hurts me? Right? When someone I promised to go to the movies with, right, decides they don't want to go to the movies with me, they go with someone else. That hurts too. Is that person unethical for not going to the movies with me? Like, just because you hurt someone, just because you cause someone pain, does not necessarily mean what you did was wrong.
Look, if you're talking about in this situation, they've agreed to go out with you to the movies, and then all of a sudden you're at the movie theater, you've gone out of your way, you've spent the time, energy, money to show up to the movie theaters, and they don't show up, and they go to another movie theater with someone else without informing you. Yeah, they're fucked up for doing that. I would call my friend out and be like, "Why the fuck would you
person
do
they
that?
went
Why
to the
wouldn't
movie
you
theater
tell
with.
me ahead of time?"
It's a person they went out with and said like immoral. If they knew that they were
you
meant to
had
go out with you.
plans.
If they
Damn,
knew,
that's a good
yeah.
question.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
my
I
if
knew
some
you
if my
were.
bro
Really?
if my brother calls me up, if a
No,
brother
that's
calls
cap.
me up, right? My bro, right, calls me up and says, "Yo, I promised my wife I was gonna go watch this rom-com with her, but man, I don't want to do that. You want to go see this action movie instead? And I say yes. Am I now unethical?
You just did a shitty thing.
I think the idea of trying to make the guy unethical is women's way of trying to get men to continue killing each other, right? They want us to fight over it.
What the fuck? This can be on another side.
Wait, let me finish
this
my
isn't
point.
just a men's situation. This is also a female situation.
They want this world where a guy likes a girl, right? And he'll try to get with this girl, and then another guy ends up getting with that girl, and the two guys fight to the death because the one guy can't accept. Like, you know what?
Look, I don't want a man to
fault.
fight over me.
He's just doing what he's doing, right? If he's getting with that girl and you wanted to be with that girl, or you were with that girl, he just made his move. That girl evidently wasn't that into you. You move on.
It has nothing to do with wanting. I don't want men to die over that.
I actually have a question for you, FK. Then, so you're fine with your significant other cheating as long as you don't find out.
Yeah, because if I find out, that's on me to be like, I'm moving on. Like, it is what it is.
Isn't it easier for them just not
just to not cheat?
So
but personally, I wouldn't get cheated on. But that's just
tell a personal story. Wait, hold on. And this will be really quick. So what makes you special that you feel like the need to go out and have multiple people? Like what makes
I don't have this need. I just think it's okay for guys to do.
Only guys though?
Anybody. Like, I'm saying guys, but I'm saying anybody. I said girls too. I said earlier in this whole thing, girls can do it too.
All right, Doobie.
So you asked me if I've been cheated on before. I've known FK for a long time, right? FK was there and witnessed, right? He didn't do it. Okay, fuck you. But he was there and he witnessed the whole thing, right? From my side, right? So like he saw me find out. My reaction, how sad I was for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe like a month, and I got over it.
Leave the DMs.
Were you not upset at all?
Got over it, moved on. I was like, hey, actually, it's a good thing that this happened because I'm not stuck with this crazy bitch. I move on, find someone better, and I did.
Obviously.
Were you not upset at all?
Yeah, of course I was upset in the moment.
He just said he was upset, obviously. But it still causes you unnecessary harm for this.
Pride. This is ego and pride, right?
And what do you mean ego and
let him finish. Just let him finish.
Ego and pride.
Yeah, let him finish.
Realization that this beautiful painting I was like working on for years just has a big ass piece of shit on it, right? And it's just I'm not gonna be able to finish it the way that I wanted to. So that's sad, of course. But then it was for the better in the end, right? Like I realized that, hey, if this person could do this, it's probably not the kind of person I want to be with. Exactly. So this is actually a good thing. And I'm not. And after a couple weeks, I wasn't even mad at the guy that she did it with. Like it just okay, shit happens, move on.
But
okay. Go ahead, Peanut. I'll go after you.
Okay, so when you get cheated on or when you cheat, it affects that next relationship that you get into. If you do break up, you have trust issues. Let's say
that's if you're an irrational person.
No, that's if you're normal. If you get cheated on,
if you're an irrational person, you start throwing your baggage at everybody you meet.
If you're rational enough, you should recognize that next partner isn't your first partner, right? Isn't your prior partner. You should recognize that's a new person with new backgrounds, with new personality, with a new understanding of the world, and you move to that person.
Even people that are rational can be affected by emotions.
It's on you to deal with your baggage.
Anybody that is rational can still be affected by their emotions.
Yeah, but you should take a look in yourself, deal with your emotions before you put it onto your new partner.
Can I finish? I wasn't even done. Okay, so like. People gain trust issues from being cheated on. That's a thing that happens, and they put that projection onto their next partner. That's that happens. It's just
We're not saying it's okay.
I mean, it's just not a one-off situation where you get cheated on. And you're like, okay, everything's cool. Like people, he stays with some people.
Yeah, irrational people who aren't adults and don't know how to deal with their emotions. And every new person they meet, they're going to throw all the baggage from all the exes and be like, oh, God, you shouldn't say this thing to me because 10 years ago, this ex said this thing to me, then he was mean. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Just be an adult.
Yeah, no shit.
I think you should
We're not saying it's okay.
Control yourself. Like, you can, it's easy to say, it's easy to say, be an adult, but you're not being an adult by not being able to control yourself. Like, if you feel the need
again, we keep bringing this we keep bringing this onto the person who is in a relationship who is married, which is fine. But again, I'm not that's not the question at hand. The question at hand is if you aren't in a relationship, why should I have to control myself? If someone's offering me candy, I don't care if it's spoken for by someone else, right? Like if someone if they promise that candy to Millie, I don't care. I'm going to eat it. If they say, hey, you want some candy? I'm just going to eat the candy because I haven't promised the candy to anyone, right?
Okay, I think we're diminishing the effects. I think we're diminishing the
That's not
effects that
how his
happen.
panels
No,
work,
right?
No, not for the
unfortunately.
panel.
Can I? Okay. Okay.
I wanted to
Look,
ask, can we
you're-
raise our hands if we've ever been the other woman or guy?
Okay.
Okay.
I've been in
I was a
relationships.
sex worker, so I was often the other person.
You
Anyways,
provided a great
what I was
service to
saying.
society.
Okay, so look,
was
regarding what
providing the
Wick was
service.
saying, the whole candy situation diminishes the effects, right? The outcomes that can come with this, right? Somebody may be a little bit upset about a piece of candy, right? But when it comes to a relationship, there are a lot more factors in it than just, oh, a piece of candy, I don't get my sweet tooth off, right? Like it can
Depends
it can
on the
destroy-
relationship, really. There's a lot of marriages. Look, there's a lot of marriages out there that probably deserve to be destroyed. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, wait,
Okay,
so
but
let's-
let them do that. Why do you have to involve yourself? Why do you have to be the one that comes in and says, "Okay,
Wait, what do you
here
mean
we go,
come
let's
in?
go."
Like someone's offering me it.
You're
Candy.
coming into
Yeah,
somebody else's
you're living
relationship.
your life,
You're
bro. Like,
affecting the other person in the
I actually
relationship
don't-
that
the
is
other person's going
unaware.
to be affected anyway. This person is
yeah.
obviously, it's not just like they're
Obviously,
thinking about
but
cheating.
why do
Wait,
you
wait,
have
wait.
to be the
It's
one that
not
does
just
that?
they're
Why
thinking
do you
about
have to be
cheating.
the one
They're
that
going to
does
cheat, right? Whether it's with you, whether it's with the next
I'm-
person, you
I'm
might as well get
aware.
your rocks
I'm
off because
aware.
they're already going out of their way to break
I'm
that
a-
relationship.
I'm
It's fine with them,
aware that they're
evidently.
going to go off. If they're not going to do it with me, I already know that they're going to be going and doing it with somebody else. But I don't want to be the one that involves myself in their relationship and affecting them. I don't want. You shouldn't. That it can affect your
You
mental
don't have
health.
to be.
Yeah, you're getting yourself into somebody else's
No,
relationship.
you
What do you
don't have to
mean?
be. If I want to, it's not a problem. If
Okay,
Doobie wants
so-
to, if Wick wants to, if somebody else here wants to, it's not a problem.
In my opinion, I don't think that the other person is the one that wrecks the marriage. I believe it's the person that's doing the cheating.
I'm not
that
saying-
still
I'm not
doesn't
saying
take-
that
no,
they're-
hold on. No, I'm not speaking towards you. I'm just speaking
Okay.
in general. I'm saying that hold on. I think that although it's immoral to help the other person cheat, I don't think that that's the person that wrecked your marriage. Like,
Yeah,
I-
I want to clarify on this. I'm not saying that like you are the person that is wrecking. Like obviously the person that goes out and does the cheating is doing it, but you are helping assist it, right? You were assisting in that destroying of that marriage, whether the other person finds out or not, right?
Right.
Because at that point,
So
Yeah, and
Can
I
I
can't
ask
put
a question?
or I'm helping keep the marriage together, right? Because she won't break up with him because she's able to get that need satisfied somewhere else.
what? Okay,
what do you
wait.
mean? What
If
do
a
you
guy-
mean
if
you're
a
not
guy-
breaking
wait,
it
wait.
up? What if she
If a
decides to
guy-
end it up later on, or what if the guy
What if
does
a guy-
find out?
Somebody in my chat said earlier, and I just remembered it. What if a guy goes out and hires a woman because he can't get a need fulfilled, and it's like there's like this woman's tested, she's a professional, she's gone through all this effort, and plus she's not going to go back to the other partner.
how does he know she's been tested, regardless of whether she's
Yeah,
been
Because you
cheating
His
would,
with
risk
her or
go through, you
not?
would go through a reputable source.
Well,
Yeah, but that's a risk
okay, I
you're
get a
taking
paper
for your
in
partner
hand.
as well. Like,
I want the papers in hand. Give me the papers in
like,
hand. You've
and
been
even
tested.
then, and even then, documents can be faked all the time.
I
Or-
think Hannah's
I
done this.
fall over
as a
those
professional,
all
so
the
maybe we
time.
should ask
It's not
her.
about that.
Hannah,
It's about the
Hannah.
question in itself. Like,
Hannah, this is your expertise. Go ahead.
Let me
yes,
get water real quick.
yes. So I was a sex worker, and I often did the girlfriend experience sort of thing with people. I had a lot of clients that were in quote unquote dead bedroom relationships, and they would come to me to still be emotionally available to their partner, but I was essentially a sex doll to them, and I was happy to give that service and allow their marriages to remain happy and healthy, and allow them to continue with their their families. And
Yeah.
I just helped with the intimacy problems.
Actually,
And I was tested regularly. May I please finish? I was tested regularly through the agency that I was with for men and women to engage as clients with our agency. They also had to go through regular testing. I was actually tested every other month while I was in service.
Makes it sound like the military a little bit, but
It's just a job.
fair enough.
It's just a job.
Right?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ginger.
I have something to
Okay,
respond to
unlike
that,
the
though.
heathens in here, I want to thank you for your service.
All right, shut up.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate
You saved many marriages.
I can understand where you're coming from as far as the unemotional cheating on their wife, but being able to get that satisfaction. But when you bring up the girlfriend experience, that is emotional cheating, regardless of whether like whether you're their actual girlfriend or not, that's considered emotional cheating.
Well, okay, let me ask you this,
No,
Ginger.
because it was just
I wanted to
hopeless.
ask
You're
a
just
question.
fake dating.
Real quick,
That's
I have
emotional cheating.
I have a question for Ginger because I'm curious
It's
what your line
play
is.
pretend.
Do you
It's role play.
is it different if they didn't say anything and there was no emotion involved? And would you feel different about it if they just went to a sex worker, didn't talk to them, didn't look at them or anything, and just did what they did and left? Would that be ethical under those circumstances to you, Ginger?
Well, I mean, I think it's really bizarre. I'm not gonna.
They're in a dead. Just real quick, they're in a dead bedroom situation. They're not, they're not having sex with their spouse. Okay, for whatever reason, the other partner isn't interested. Maybe they're no
Okay.
longer attracted.
Well-
Doesn't matter why, right? And so they still want to be involved, right? They still want to be married to their spouse, right? But they got this need. Okay.
Okay. So I actually feel like if you're in a relationship and you're capable of having sex, there's no reason to not be having sex in your relationship. And if you
Cringe.
aren't giving them sex in the relationship, you should expect them to go somewhere else. Like there's a case in where, like I understand you're not feeling well or you're on your period or something, but if there's like multiple months going by where you're refusing to have sex with your partner and that partner's asking for it, then I'm sorry,
What
but
if it's a
what do you
specific kind of
expect them
sex?
to do?
What if your partner's like really into like dom sub shit and you're just not into that? You're not comfortable with that.
Then why did you get married to them?
Wouldn't that be
Do
something
you
that you
love
would
them?
discuss
Hey,
before?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
you're
that-
having
this
a
is why-
great
Sometimes
life.
people's taste changes.
Yeah, you guys
What do
speak as if like if they're not sexually compatible, nothing else matters. Like that's ridiculous. That's like
a
your
big
view of relationships
component.
is so shallow.
I don't think it's like that big of. I think it's a very big component for like starting off a relationship and maybe like keeping it going for a while. But after some point, I don't think that's like that important as much anymore. I think like
Right.
at some point you might hit a point where it's just like, yo, we might not be that compatible here. We just might have different. Like I might be somebody who wants to experiment more. You're not. You might be somebody who wants to experiment more. I'm not. Like there's things where it's like you could plead all day with the other partner, but if they're not into it, they're not into it. And at that point, if you go out of your way to get something else, like it's not the end of the world as long as you're doing all the other things needed to fulfill like a happy
It
relationship.
very much be the end
Wait a
of the
second.
relationship, though.
There's other solutions. Instead of just going out of your way and cheating without them knowing and all that shit, you could talk to them and talk about, well, maybe
And
we can
hurt
start
them?
an open.
I mean, this is
finish
very
my
contextual on the
point.
relationship as well.
You could talk about potentially opening it up. That's letting them know
That's-
that that's not hurting.
That's
But
unnecessary. Of course, it's
question
hurting
is
them.
if that's
So
not
you
something
think
they're into.
telling like I don't know. I think any reasonable person, if someone you loved, right, that you thought everything was fine, and they came to him like, hey, actually, I want to fuck other people. You know, why don't I feel like I'm just not getting what I need
Are
here.
you married?
I need to fuck somebody else for the relationship's not going to work. Like this is going to hurt them immensely, right? So I think you're much better off just not telling them.
Than cheat on them.
I understand this for
That's
you.
ridiculous.
Okay, I have someone
Really
paid me money.
selfish.
Someone paid me money.
Very
$5.
selfish.
$5
I
from
can tell.
Fondue to ask this. If your best friend's partner wants to cheat with you,
I was gonna
Would
ask that
you do it?
question.
It
I was
depends
gonna
on who the
ask
partner
about
is.
friends.
I've
I was
actually
gonna ask
had that
about
happen.
friends.
No,
I think
I
Wait,
would never cheat for my friend.
Do you
Not
mind
my friend.
repeating it? You said the
Sure.
best friend.
If your best friend, so your best friend in the whole world, their partner, whoever that may be, wants to cheat with you, they come up to you and they say, hey, I have this itch. I'm going to scratch it, but I don't want to hurt my spouse. And I know that you love my spouse too, so I know you'll never tell them. So, I mean, it's going to happen, but the only way he's not going to find out is if it's with you.
As a friend, you have an
Then you're a
feel
shit
you have an
friend, if you
obligation to
agree.
tell them. If you are
Yeah.
a good friend, you
So
have
you
an
would destroy
obligation
their
to tell them.
marriage? Great, cool.
Yep, I guess so.
Okay, wait,
Yeah,
wait.
inform the other person in that because it and especially if you're the one engaging in
So
that.
if
Like,
this
not
person,
only are you
if your
Right,
best
you're
friend,
married
okay,
and
your
wanting to
best
cheat.
friend and their partner have been together for 20 years. They have 6 kids. 3 of them are still
Beautiful
at home.
kids.
Okay,
Happy kids.
beautiful, happy.
kid.
They rely on their parents being together for emotional and financial support. All the things they need. A 2-parent household. Again, this person comes up to you and asks you, look, I need to do this. I'm going to do this, but I don't want to leave my spouse. I just need this itch scratched, right? If you inform my spouse, they will leave me. You will break up this marriage. You will destroy it. So
Okay.
So,
okay.
you're okay with destroying
Can I
marriages
go?
in that way?
Yeah, you
Look,
can
I'm
go,
gonna go on this. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So in situation one, you do engage with them. Not only are you being a shit friend, and if if the other person ends up finding out because you know whatever, you're like oh, they're my best friend. You know, I did something terrible to them, and you end up telling them, or the spouse ends up telling them, or somebody else finds out about it, or something, right? At the end of that, you know you're going to be losing your best friend because, and this isn't a realistic situation. Let's be realistic about this. If your best friend found out that you helped to cheat in that relationship, they are going to hate your guts.
Wait,
They're
did they
gonna-
actually, in the scenario, Wick, did they actually sleep together or did he just try?
Yeah, in scenario
They're
one,
asking
they
you.
slept
They're
together.
asking you.
In scenario one, right? They slept together. The best friend and the spouse, right? They slept together.
It's not.
So
There are two scenarios. It's only one scenario. I'm asking you
Yeah.
in this situation. If you are in this scenario where someone is asking to have an affair with you, right?
So can I respond to that?
Yes.
Okay. So I've actually had that situation happen multiple times. The first time I did tell her and she got so pissed at me she didn't talk to me ever again. But she stayed with the guy. And the second time I didn't say shit because I told him off and I was like, fuck you ever do that again, I will tell her. But the second time I didn't. I was like, nah. Like he asked, but he hasn't done anything yet. So that's
you're
not on me. That's not
if
on
you're
me.
the dude that ends up getting asked by like the female, like the spouse, right, the wife that comes up to you, like wouldn't you be breaking like bro code in this situation by sleeping with your best friend's wife? Like, oh,
I
like
also
hello?
want
Well,
to say
because you're breaking the contract with your friend, you're not breaking the contract of that person's marriage.
As well as helping break the
Yeah.
contract between him and his wife. You're assisting in this. This goes back to the
No,
you're
she's breaking the
assisting in this.
contract. You're just a random. You're like a person who's not affiliated with a contract at all. You're just a random individual.
You're
Do you guys think-
assisting in the breaking of it.
Do you guys think hand jobs are cheating?
Yeah.
It depends on how good it is.
What?
They're usually bad.
Why?
So
why
so
would you?
here's-
Why
this
would
is why-
you
oh, God.
out just for a hand job?
Look, so I can think of many reasons why. So if I were like a 60-year-old dude, let myself go, fat as fuck, and my wife, same thing, right? And I could go to like a Thai massage parlor, right, and get jerked off by like some 20-something-year-old. Why wouldn't I do that? She never finds out. I get a nice massage. I get jerked off. Like, why do you think that the masseuse there who's jerking me off is like has like some kind of obligation to ask if I'm in a relationship? If they see my wedding ring, do they need to ask me? And if they do, if
I
they
think the masseuse is just like unethical just to begin
Yeah,
with.
dude,
Why?
why don't you pull out your marriage
Why is that
contract and have
unethical?
them sign in?
No, just the whole I don't agree with this whole like sexual pleasure shit like that in like in a
What?
parlor aspect. Like I just don't like that.
Why not?
But anyway,
Hey, Nippy, thanks for the
Wait, what's
gift sub, by the way. Anyway, carry
Wait,
on.
hold on. What's wrong with that?
Can we go back to the other question because I wanted to make one more point.
I'd like you to
Okay.
answer this question first.
Well, I was wanting to
Honestly-
speak before.
I honestly
but
don't.
that's
I don't
irrelevant.
think I would stop laughing if I found out my significant other did something like that. I personally wouldn't be offended. I would just be very, very amused.
Okay.
I think
Just real quick, I want to get Small Peanut a chance to ask her question. Go ahead, ask your question, Small Peanut.
Okay, so my thing was you said that if it's a friend situation, what my question? Well, it wasn't really a question. Sorry, it was a statement. If they did whatever that couple decides to, if they decide to stay in the marriage or not, that goes on to them. But I did the right thing as a friend by informing it, and also even if they have kids, I wouldn't want those kids being raised by a cheating dad.
you wouldn't know because he's good at what he does.
I mean,
oh my god, this whole thing goes back to like, oh, you just have to be good at it. You just have to be
You
good at
do.
it.
'cause
You're adding in
if
so
you're bad
many
at it, that's where the
factors.
consequences
You're
come
adding
into
in
play.
so
But if you're
many
good at it, there's
extra
only
factors.
benefits. Like, I don't know what to say.
So many extra
You're
factors.
just puffing your side up. You're not even like
Yeah.
looking at the other side.
Like
We
that's
are
what
looking
you,
at
you
this
just
as
don't-
cheating
it's
dad,
just
as
that
a
point.
cheating dads haven't
I'm
existed and
completely
haven't like led
Questions.
fulfilling
I get it.
families.
I get it now.
Stop.
You don't care about the other person. You don't respect the person that you're in a relationship with, and you don't give a fuck about how they feel, whether
not
they find
true.
out in the end or
No,
not.
I personally do. I said I
So-
wouldn't cheat
Two things.
Then why fight for this?
The first thing.
because people have rights.
Okay. The first thing I want to ask, which is better, a cheating dad or no dad in life?
That's a good question.
That's a good, like, if someone, given that we know the effects, we can see the effects, right, of a single parent households and how it's not good for the kids. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you that, spoiler alert, right? You'd rather have a dad. So you, just because you don't like that the dad cheated, you would remove that from the kid's life like that. So that's the first question. Second one, $2 from Fondue to say, can I get an answer from the pro cheaters? So let's real quick, just get a real quick answer from the pro cheaters. Pro cheaters, your best friend comes up to you, bro. I know you're best friends with my husband, but I want to cheat. Would you keep it between us? Would you cheat? Just a quick yes or no is fine.
I wouldn't, because because like the way I think it's the same as anything else. So like I think that I'd have the obligation to my friend, right? I care about that way more than this person. Like they're not my best friend, so why would I do that? And of course I would tell them. And if they tried, even if I rejected it, right, I would still tell my best friend, right? So, and I think it's kind of weird that you guys aren't on 𝕻𝖎 for not telling her best friend when she got the proposition.
She did him. She did in one
Now
scenario.
the second time,
in the other.
So I was trying to get to, there was multiple paths that could have gone right in the whole scenario of the spouse of your best friend comes up to you. Like there's multiple scenarios. Either you cheated with them or you go and tell. I didn't get the opportunity to say my piece on the other side. I kind of got a little tucked over on that. So yeah, there are multiple paths that could have been taken. So,
do you think that Miss Ramoth, Miss Ginger, is unethical, or she's like immoral for not telling her friend that their partner tried to cheat on them?
Yeah, harlequin.
Yeah. If you don't tell your best friend that their partner's trying to cheat on them, I think that's unethical.
So you think she's a bad person?
Yeah.
I see.
If you're going to be a best friend to someone, if you're going to be best friends with someone, that I would expect my best friend to tell me if my spouse is cheating on me.
True. I think for a best friend, I could believe. I like more agree with that. But if it's like some random, if it's like some girl flew in from another state and like she just hooks up with somebody, is that the end of the world? Okay, if you're visiting Miami and you're about to hook up with a girl, I have a friend who knows this deeply. I know he's sitting in chat right now. But if you're visiting Miami, you're about to hook up with a girl and you see her boyfriend on her screensaver, should you stop?
Yeah.
Is it on you to stop at that point?
I'll let y'all respond to that, but I wanted to get to the first question that Wick asked. So
just don't kiss her, because you know where that mouth has been. But like aside from that,
that's true. That's true. Never kiss a girl who's given a blowjob.
True.
So Wick, the first question that you asked, the whole, is it better to have a cheating father or like a no father household? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there are plenty of divorced households that still have the father engaging in the children's lives. Like I think you just completely forgot that that's even happening.
That doesn't matter. Like that's still worse. Hang on. Still worse.
Okay, so yeah, children still walking around. So cam down, right? I'll cam back whenever they're gone. But so you can.
Okay, well, I'll take care of that. We'll get back to you. Take care of that. We'll get back to you. But no, just real quick
about the massage parlor.
Just
I feel like people didn't really engage with that.
I understand, but just real
because
quick.
That's not a
stop.
That's just a joke.
Okay, just real quick. Just FYI. Even if a parent is still involved in their former partner's life and raising of the child, not being in the home 24/7, it is worse. It is worse for the child. It's not as bad as a total absentee father, but it is still just worse for the children, right? We know this.
I can agree with that. I agree with that whole thing in general, but it's when I said my response was the cheating dad and stuff, I feel like it's also you can't just look at the dad, you have to also look at how it would be for the mom too, like how mentally she would be, because if they're together and he's like cheating and stuff, her mental health and all that is not going to be
not
great.
If she doesn't know.
We're saying if she knew.
I mean, if she knew, that'd be bad. Right? It's bad to hurt somebody, but if she didn't know, I think it'd be fine.
If she didn't know, there's jack shit I can do.
Okay, I want to pass it back to Lily again. Go ahead, finish.
Hang on.
Wait, so small peanuts. Why do you think my my massage parlor question was a joke. Like I could drive 30 minutes right now and go get jerked off by a Vietnamese immigrant. Like it's not that hard.
He knows the spot.
They're all over the fucking place in LA. Like what do you
I
mean?
know they're real, but to me they're a joke. Like what Ginger was saying, like laughing at it, like it's.
So you wouldn't be offended. You wouldn't think that the massage parlor masseuse lady who jerked off your husband did something wrong.
Well, the thing is, he's the one that paid for the service. They offer it. They don't just do it by themselves.
Wait, so you wouldn't be mad at her for jerking him off?
Honestly, I'm gonna just say I don't know. That's the best
Why?
way I can go.
Wait, would you be mad? Would you be mad at the prostitute that he slept with? Like, so it matters if he's paying for it now?
I don't know.
So I would.
That's the best way for me to answer because
it's your position. Like, what I'm trying to understand. If you don't know your own position, like, I don't know what. Like, how can we talk about this?
You're talking about paying for services rather than it just being a strain. Like, I know it's still the same thing, but there's money involved. It's a lot.
Okay.
Why does that make it
Speaking of money involved, 𝕵𝖎𝖎𝖙 for $5 more says, Wick, the difference between cheating father and no father is up to the wife in that case. Your responsibility is to tell the truth. Interesting. Okay.
Should the wife suck it up? Nah, that's crazy. I think it's on. I think they make that decision, right? If you don't want to get cheated on, you just step away. But that's like, if they're good enough, and if they're fulfilling every other need, the wife should be happy enough that like whether they're cheating or not shouldn't be a question. I'm gonna be honest.
What was it? Was this topic here?
If
talking about the services.
The guy just asked the difference between a cheating father and no father.
That wasn't a question. It was a statement. But the question that Doobie posed to Peanut, right, was the masseuse at one of these massage parlors who gives a married person a tug job, right?
A happy ending massage. That's what it's called.
Unethical? Are they being unethical? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's the same thing. They're still assisting and breaking the vows that were given between those two people, and they're still disrespecting the other person on the other side of that relationship. Point blank.
What about
I don't think how you guys don't understand that.
Like
it's still a stripper. Whether it's someone that's being employed to do this or some random person at the bar or wherever it may be, the person is still unethical in joining in that act. Point blank. Like, I don't see how you guys don't understand that.
Well, question, does the spouse know that the person is getting a happy ending massage?
I hope not.
Okay, they find out. I want Hannah, I'm sorry, to get a chance, and then I have another question for Millie specifically. Go ahead.
So, Millie, when I engaged in sex work, it was out of necessity. Would you still consider me a bad person, even though I often slept with married people?
I mean, I don't think the people are bad, but they're unethical for doing it.
Thank you, soldier.
So I think you were unethical in engaging with married folks.
I don't think you were.
Okay, I'm curious. So, Small Penis, do you think...
I didn't really have a choice in the matter if my clients were married or not. I didn't get to exactly, pick my clients.
I don't know
if you didn't know that the people were, if you didn't know that they were in a relationship, then no, because you had no clue. Like, it is what it is, right? If your client chooses not to tell you, then you're not unethical in this situation. But if you were completely aware and they take their ring off in front of you, or they'd be like, "I hope you don't mind," or I'm in a relationship.
Millie, they paid beforehand. You're in mid-act, and then they're like, "Oh man, I hope my wife doesn't find out." What's the ethical move? They paid for services, and it would be unethical to deny them the service they paid for, right? Correct?
Okay, then you stop the services, tell them no refunds, and get the fuck out of there.
Oh. What? Okay, you don't think that's unethical?
Great way to get killed as an
You don't think that's unethical to do, though?
Like, if you find out in the middle of it, be like, well, fuck, this is fucked up. Like, I'm assisting in helping, in disrespecting this other spouse. Stop the act, tell them, sorry, bitch, no refunds, and get the fuck out. You got your money, you got paid, move on.
Can I ask kind of a crazy hypothetical?
No, before crazy hypotheticals, I'm curious what the other people think. Also, $2 from Fondue to ask, why do marriages require witnesses? It's to show the state that they're all married. We were talking for 1,000 bits for $10. Says, I'd like to ask 2 questions, both related to the panel. 1, if I forced myself into someone who is completely unconscious, who would have no memories of the event, and I took every precaution such that they wouldn't have any negative outcomes from it, no STDs, no pregnancy, no physical damage, nothing, i.e. no harm could come to them, have I done something wrong?
Yeah. You raped
Second,
them.
would I have done something wrong if I witnessed someone do this and then informed the victim after? So you saw someone do this, and then you told the person that was done unto that this happened to them. Good question.
I think that was a
wait a
question
minute.
towards us. And I'm going to be honest, I've talked to somebody about this yesterday. I think it's wild that people really view cheating as the equivalent of rape, right? This is just him setting up a hypothetical. No. That's what he's trying to set up as the hypothetical, right? So like I think it's wild that people even view it as like equal. I'm going to be honest, I don't know if it's worth like contending with that at all.
That's not even
the idea is that even if it's like two consensual adults, you're somehow violating someone else's consent, right? By having sex with someone like not involved. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So obviously sleeping with somebody when they're unconscious and unaware of it would be a violation of their bodily autonomy. They can't consent. But if the person you're having sex with is able to consent and they do consent, I really don't see an issue. I don't see how you're violating your spouse's autonomy in doing that.
Is the question?
I think the person should give Wick more money for that question.
Yeah, because that's not even close to the topic. That's raping somebody and then
Look,
asking.
I'm all for more money. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Ludican, you dumb bitch.
So to clarify this, they're saying that they're going out and engaging in sexual actions with someone who is completely unconscious. Like say someone's in a coma and then they go engage with them and prevent any precautionaries of like transmitting an STI to them or getting them pregnant or whatever it may be. Like is that wrong? Like, yeah. Even if they don't have any memory of it, you're still removing the autonomy of that person, the freedom of them of the choice. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's a good question to the chatters. What the fuck is wrong with you, chat? What the fuck is wrong with you? 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙𝖘𝖍𝖔𝖜 for $2 asks, why are prostitutes only reserved for singles?
They are.
True. What a good question.
Oh, well, I worked couples too. I took clients.
Okay.
I needed the money.
I think he meant single as in not in a relationship.
Okay, here's the thing. If they choose to go the unethical route of engaging with someone that is married, they have every right to do that. Just know that you're unethical for doing that. You can still do it, but you're still fucked up for doing it.
To be clear, the sex worker in this case, the sex worker. Okay, let me ask you, Millie. Is a sex worker...
It seems like Millie thinks sex work in general
Yeah, let me ask a question to Millie. Sex worker who only sleeps with non-married individuals, are they ethical?
Sure.
She doesn't believe that.
Wait, what?
I have no issue with sex work.
You said earlier that the massage parlor person jerking people off would be engaging in something unethical, whether or not the person was cheating.
That's not what I said. Whether they were engaging.
You say you didn't like.
It was regarding the question. No, I was referring to if they were helping them cheat. Just to clarify.
Wait, can I ask my crazy hypothetical now?
No, hold on. We still got a lot to go through. We'll get to it. Hold it. Write it down so you remember it later. But I have questions for the panel that I want to get to before we derail it off to Never Never Land. Okay, fair. So, okay, Millie, to you. Okay. Would you, and I know this is a personal question, so if you don't want to answer, that's fine. You find out your spouse has cheated on you. He's very sorry. Do you leave him?
Yes.
Yes, under all circumstances. Is there any circumstances where the cheating in your mind would be justified for him?
No, because if they cheated once, then they're more likely to do it again, so I would leave.
And you did that because they violated your trust. Is that the main harm?
Yes.
Okay.
They disrespected me. They violated the trust. They disrespected the oath that we made to each other. So I would move on.
Then
I would
on
leave,
that thing,
and that would be it.
Yeah. On that note, they spend a large portion of the money that they knew you had been saving up for something else. Without your consent, they spend. You've already earmarked this for something, and they go and they spend it on something else. They get a boat or something. Do you leave them over that?
Possibly.
So you can think of scenarios where you wouldn't?
Yeah, I could think of scenarios if it's in the event of like it's an emergency and I don't know of the emergency at that time. Yeah, I can understand that. Okay. I would talk to them, and if I just found out that they did it out of just they just wanted to buy a frickin' boat just because, and they disrespected me, I could find grounds in leaving them over that. Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, just checking your consistency here. Violations of trust. I'm just trying to find out the harm that the anti-cheating crowd sees in cheating. Violation of trust seems to be a big one. I understand that, right? Interesting. Okay. What about you, Doobie? I'm curious. Your significant other, you're not okay with cheating. They're skimming from the top. You don't find out about it. Are they doing anything unethical? That by skimming on the top, it means
Skimming from the top.
they're taking some of your money that you earmarked for something else, and they're spending it on jewelry or some other thing.
Why don't you just ask him the same question you asked me? Not skimming, just took all your money and spent it on something else. Ask the same question.
Fair, same question then.
Repeat the question. I was doing something.
Fair enough. You and your significant other have saved up to do something, go on a vacation, doesn't matter what,
Okay.
right? And then you find out she used either all of that money or a large significant portion of the money on something else. She did it without your consent, she did it without your knowledge, and you suddenly find out she's done that. Do you leave her over that? Why or why not?
Depends why she did it, and how much money it was. Like if it's just like anywhere under like 15,000 or something, I wouldn't care that much. If it's like 100,000, or she's like emptied the fucking bank account or something, like yeah, I'd care. But if she had a good reason for doing it, yeah, we could talk about it. We'll work it out.
Okay.
I might differ on like the amount there. Like, I mean, but that just comes to like, how much
but what
I
if it was
value
only a
money and what.
little cheating though? Like, what if it was just like a
What is
I
a
think
little
it's a little bit
cheating?
different.
So
Right,
not sex.
the way that
So not
what do you
sex.
mean it's a little
Sure,
cheating?
not sex, right? They didn't have
Right.
sex or anything like that, but they kissed.
What if it was just oral?
No, they
Or-
kissed.
A one-time kiss.
They kissed, like a passionate kiss, a make out. They made out, right? Do you leave them over that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if you got jerked off at a spa?
Yes. Still, yes. I would still leave them.
Oh my god! Really gonna break up a relationship
Wait,
for a hand
This is
job?
why
Like,
modern
100%.
marriages don't
Probably
I
wasn't
work.
even good.
I didn't break up the relationship. They broke it by going out and doing those things that we had agreed were only going to be occurring between me and my spouse.
Or for, like,
They
a
were the
lap
ones
dance.
that broke.
What about porn?
You keep put.
What about pornography? They're jerking
depends
into
on the couple.
pornography.
It depends on the couple. I don't care if my boyfriend.
It depends on the
watches
couple.
porn.
If we've agreed on like that's not an issue, then that's fine.
Fellas, if your girl is stopping you from jerking off, she's not your girl anymore. It's not worth it.
Yeah. I view that like you know what?
What's
I'm
the
not gonna go
difference?
into that 'cause
What?
it's
No, I'm
personal.
curious.
It's personal.
What's the difference between them using another woman for their pleasure visually versus using another woman for their pleasure physically? What's the difference?
Yeah, if he's like looking at a woman and thinking about fucking her and masturbating to that, like what's the difference?
Well, how would I word this? Because I don't want to sound rude. I want to be like, well, it's not real. Like,
Don't be rude.
because what?
It's
Why is it
real
rude?
enough in their head. It's real
Well,
enough
that's
for
what
him to get off, right?
that's why I said I didn't want to say it's not real, but it's kind of like there's a separation between, I guess, the screen and then somebody physically in front of you. There is a separation. You can't deny that.
500 bits while you guys think about this. 500 bits from Laura
if he was
Talkin
paying
to
for,
say,
like-
just while you think about it, let me get my money. Let me get my bag, gang. Okay. Laura Talkin says, the point was that if you completely remove harm from the equation, an action can still be bad if it's inherently bad. Violating a contract is inherently bad. The bad doesn't go away just because there was no harm. The same hypothetical would be if someone told me they were going to violate someone sleeping in the room next to me unless I told them not to. Have I done something wrong if I don't tell them not to? Okay.
Yeah, I understand what the hypothetical is. I don't think that violating a contract is inherently bad. Like that we understand that. It's just the presupposition there is
oath?
stupid.
What about the oath?
Depends on the oath. Some oaths you should break.
Okay, it's a happy marriage and someone goes and breaks that oath. Is that bad?
It could still stay
Wasn't
a
that
happy
happy?
marriage.
They still
Yeah,
broke that
again,
oath.
like-
It's still bad at the end of the day. Whether
I
it's
still
true
want-
or
I
not,
still
it
want
doesn't
my
matter.
question
You guys are
answered.
treating it as if it's like always this end of the world. Like as soon as
It's not an end
like
of
one
the
of the parts. No,
world.
wait. You
No,
guys are
it's
treating it
not
as like
the
I'm saying end of the.
apocalypse.
Okay, fine. I'll clarify better. You guys are
Yeah,
treating
thank
it as if like as soon as the one partner steps out, it's like the end of the fucking relationship and it's over. Everything's dead.
Once the
It
person
could be the
finds out,
case that
yeah.
they step out, get some. like they don't have to always find out again. Like you could just step out, get what you need, and your relationship could be
You're
just fine.
still
Why do they
cheating.
have to always
Okay,
find out? Why
obviously,
does it always have to be that case?
obviously the relationship is going to be fine until the person found out that the other person cheated, right? But at the end of the day, you're still doing something
But do you
wrong,
guys
whether
have a
the person
problem with
found
them
out or
just
not.
finding out, or do you guys have a problem with cheating as a whole? Like, can we
I
just
have
get
Cheating
to
as
that?
a whole,
Cheating
cheating
as
as
a
a
whole.
whole is bad. You've already agreed that you wouldn't cheat, right? Why wouldn't you
Yeah, I
cheat? Tell
personally
me,
would
why wouldn't you cheat?
I wouldn't cheat
think
because
FK
I
is
feel
naive. I
like
think he would cheat.
Why wouldn't you cheat?
I feel like I wouldn't need it personally. I feel like if I found the right person that I'm willing to dedicate my life to, I don't need it. But like I could be wrong. I might end up at a point where maybe that's like mindset changes. I'm open to that idea too, right? But like
I still want an answer.
I don't know.
I still want an answer to my question.
Okay,
that no
okay,
one
okay,
just
we're-
stop. What is the difference, right? If you are not okay with emotional cheating or not okay with physical cheating, why are you okay with your significant other jerking it to other women online, like to
They
porn?
don't know that.
In my opinion, I
Viewing them lustfully.
see that it's just completely different because
Why?
The odds of them meeting these people in real life is very slim. The odds of it's just a fantasy, and you can't say that fantasies are bad. Like,
But it's not just a
unless-
fantasy. There's a significant difference between me concocting a scenario in my mind with no like just imagining it, right? And also, right, going out, clicking on links, looking at a video, looking at a picture, right? Looking at you know, maybe even reading some some sexy DMs or something, right?
What
Like
if you watch?
what I'm just trying to think. Like you all seem to be okay with one, but you're not okay with the other.
Can I expand it a little bit?
Please.
Because I'm curious. So Ginger,
I was
like,
gonna say, what if you watch
if it
porn
were like,
together?
that's gross. So Ginger, if this was like an OnlyFans model, right? And your husband or boyfriend was like paying them for custom pictures, right? And like sexting with them or whatever.
And DMing them,
Or
yeah.
money,
paying
yeah.
for those DMs.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, you know, I really want a picture of your butthole or whatever the fuck, right? They pay like $5 for it. Like, is that like worse? Is that like still okay?
I mean, I would say that it's a little bit different, but I would still say that it's not on the level of cheating, of going out and doing it. And why is because one is fully putting your effort into like fucking this person, and one is using your imagination and your income to help you jerk off.
That's
Like
interesting.
I don't
So if
see
you're
it
like
as the
full on
same.
e-dating and like sexing shit all the time, you'd have no problem with it.
Well, I think there's a difference between like paying for the service and like just doing it. Because
Well, what
again, there's
What if
the
he's good at it and she wants to do it for free?
that doesn't happen. You
Only
no
a
hooker is like I'm not
I feel like I can make that
that was so good that I don't need your payment. Like, don't be stupid.
Actually,
don't put in shut up. Don't put in hypothetical situations that couldn't possibly happen.
It
Like,
could
they're-
actually possibly happen.
So
Wait, I'll give you an example. So there are Discord e-girls, right? Who you can pay $10 and they'll send you a bunch of nudes. Don't ask me how I know this. I've never done it. I'm just aware of it, okay? But you can pay them $10 to send you a bunch of nudes. And sometimes you start talking to them, you become friends. What if they've like, hey, you know, we're friends now, we're talking, the dynamics changed a bit, but I still like having like e-sex with you, so we're still gonna do this.
No,
Right?
I think
No
it's
money
bizarre.
involved.
I think it's bizarre to continue a relationship with somebody.
Why?
In that
formed a
aspect.
relationship.
Yeah, because that's like a that's just going too far on both ends of the spectrum for both
You
of
just
them. Like,
friends that are
she's-
fucking around, like some deal.
No, at that point it wouldn't be friends that are fucking around. It would be friends who were spending all of their sexual time together. That's having a
Doesn't need to
with
be all of it.
benefit. No.
Doesn't need to be all of it. Just be like, hey, you know, it's late at night, my girlfriend's not around or whatever. So, or it's lunchtime, I'm not at home. Send me your tits or something like this. So let's masturbate
your
together,
wife.
whatever the fuck. Like this is not like it doesn't need to be all the time. You can still fuck your girlfriend or fuck
I
your
feel-
partner. Like
You
feel
formed
at
a
that point
relationship
it's
with
just
them.
distraction.
You
I
have
feel
formed
like
a
a big deal.
relationship. It's
I
different.
think
A
at
friendship.
that point you
A
have like a
friendship
sexual
relationship.
addiction and you need to calm down on it.
if a guy has, is it bad if a guy
just-
has like multiple relationships running at a time, like maybe 2 girlfriends who might also become 2 wives?
What?
They don't know about
Sorry,
each other.
what was the question?
Is it bad if a guy's like running multiple relationships if they're both successful? So what if a guy has like you know the whole story of like traveling salesman, 2 families in
Yeah.
different states?
Yeah, and the families don't know about it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like is that bad?
Yeah,
What if he's
that's
like having
yeah,
2
is
successful
bad.
relationships?
that is terrible. Yeah, like the peeps when this is found out, because in this scenario, this isn't gonna really last that long, right? Like, I mean, we've heard of times where they last like really long time, but eventually it comes out.
Like, you
Because that's a
have to
lot
have
to
a
keep up with.
yeah, you have
Ever
to make
since
a lot
Vietnam,
of
there's
money.
been a lot of successful ones apparently. So
But they typically
I
at
would
the
like
end,
to see the
like a
statistics
majority of
on
them
that one, buddy.
do end up getting found out, right? So it's not only going to cause issues for the spouses in this relationship, but also the children. Like, you're gonna be like mentally fucking them up.
Well, that's
Like,
not even beneficial to the
significantly.
person that's doing the cheating, because not only do you have to worry about one marriage failing, you have to worry about 2 marriages failing. Not to mention, you can't legally be married to 2 different people in the majority of places in America. So that wouldn't work for one of them because they wouldn't be able to put their name on a marriage license. So one of the marriages would have to be known as like a arrangement that we're together and we're living together type situation.
Okay,
Then you have to worry about
$5.
alimony on
Sounds like
top
a
of
skill
that.
$5
issue if
from
you can't manage
Fondue.
2 relationships.
$5
I
from
don't know what you just
Fondue.
said.
Well, we're gonna get to Hana in a second. $5 from Fondue to say this is so dumb. Do we really need to figure out the line between cheating and shaking hands? Look, I like the
Seriously, but I agree
conversation.
with that too.
Hana,
Honestly.
Fondue has an
Hana,
anime
Hana,
PFP.
Hana.
True.
Hana.
What's it matter?
All you need to know.
Hana, go
It
ahead.
means
but
it
they're
means
stating
that sex
facts.
is like romance and relationships are probably drawn from cartoons, and we shouldn't listen to anything they say.
Hana.
Fuck
I
you,
was saying
Fondue.
it sounds like a skill issue if people can't manage multiple relationships at a time.
True.
It is kind of a skill issue.
Again, coming down to the whole just be better situation.
Yeah,
How
but
about
like
just
actually,
don't
Sometimes
cheat in the
sometimes
first
you're
place?
like
How about
sometimes you're
just
playing the field
don't
and
cheat
you're
in
not
the
sure which
first
one to
place?
stick with.
How about just don't cheat? How
I'm
about
still
just don't
confused.
cheat?
I'm still
just
confused.
cheat
Don't
right?
cheat.
How about
I'm still
how about take
confused.
How about
precautions?
just don't do it in the first place? How
I'm
about you
still
just don't be a piece of
confused.
shit and don't do it?
I'm still confused. Why we consider emotional cheating to be cheating? Why we consider kissing to be cheating, but we don't consider porn to be cheating?
It
I don't
depends on the
understand.
person.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious because no,
Can I say
There was
Tina,
something that
Tina.
Gibby asked earlier that I was raising my
Yeah, I
hand
understand.
for,
You still
so
haven't
I wanna-
answered my question yet, so after you've answered my question, we can get back to that. But Peanut first. Peanut?
Okay, so for me, it becomes to the point of where it is just it becomes a screen. You're not talking to that person one-on-one. You're not having that physical thing where you're not touching each other. It's just something to look at. That's just where it is for me. And
so if your boyfriend were sexting with somebody like regularly, you wouldn't care.
nope, not okay.
Doobie,
So
stop
why
pushing
isn't that different?
goalposts and let her answer
It
the
is-
original question.
It is different because they have
she's
formed.
inconsistent.
I'm not inconsistent. They have.
Okay, here's a
Yes.
better one, Doobie. What if they were
Well, let me
jerking off to old
finish.
photos of an ex?
Let me finish. These people have formed a relationship at this point. If they're going back and forth, that is a relationship. The whole porn thing is really one-sided. You're watching something, but no,
Okay.
the porn star's not looking at you.
But if
Okay,
But
what
if
if they
you
were
interact-
what if they were jerking off to an ex that
I'm
like they
not
have no
answering
contact
that.
with anymore?
Not
They have no
answering
contact
if
with
I found
anymore.
out that they were doing it, if they were doing that, I have to be careful because young ones around. So I have to be careful with my phrasing here. So I hope you guys can understand the context.
We get it.
But
Use
if
euphemisms.
again, so I just wanted to preset that, obviously. So if you ask a question and I can't like say certain things, that's why I put that out there. Anyways, if I found out that my spouse was doing it to an ex, I would be upset because there was already an emotional relationship that they had built with them, and it would put doubt in my mind of whether or not that they still wanted to be with them, they still wanted to engage with them. So I would be concerned. It would put a lot of doubts into my mind, a lot of questions, and it would be a very extensive.
But if
conversation
they
that I would
didn't
have.
know the picture, if it was from a picture of a celebrity or someone they didn't know, you'd be fine.
I think that very much comes down to the
celebrity.
relationship at that point. I don't feel like it I don't want to like say too much on that because that's my own personal relationship, right?
I just thought of a crazy question. Is it ethical for somebody to jerk off to like AI porn of their significant other?
Look,
If you just want to, no.
that's not a crazy question. That's a silly question. I guess here's the thing, right? So the reason this is a little hard as a topic is because everyone's got different lines. everyone, you ask 10 different people what they consider cheating, you're going to get 10 different answers. There'll be a lot of commonalities, right? Obviously. But when you try to define the exact line, you get a lot of different places where people draw that. So it can be hard. Communication is key, but to the point of the pro-cheating side, even just asking for an open relationship is going to devastate some people, right? It's going to devastate some of your... The potential goes up, just like cheating could, right?
That's
like,
why I said...
in the same way, asking could, right? Like, it's about risk, and it's about potentiality, right? So when... there's acceptable risk, like going out into driving to car to the store to get some milk or some food. That's acceptable risk because the risk is very low, as well as the needed. You need to do this. Like you gotta drive for your job. You gotta drive for work. You gotta drive for all sorts of things. So we accept that level of risk. When it comes to cheating, though, this becomes, in a lot of people's cases, and I would tend to agree with this, unacceptable risk, because you're gauging a risk that you do not need to and putting risk on your partner that you do not need to. Even if it's a small amount of risk, it's unnecessary. But then we get into the question, right? Like we get into the question, asking for an open relationship also can be a form of unnecessary risk. Right?
I wanna the
Go
reason why you should ask if they want to be in an open relationship is that you're still giving them the option to decide if they want to engage in that risk or not. So
why do you get all the options but they get nothing?
Exactly.
I think
it
it's
may hurt
actually
them at the end.
unethical
It
to
may
even
hurt
ask them that question.
It may hurt them at the end. Yeah, sure. I mean, you're a little fucked for asking it, but at least you're giving them the option to decide if they want to engage in this or not. Like, yeah, sure. Could it hurt them in the end by like them thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough. You don't just want to be with me
nearly as bad
anymore.
as
Like,
going to hurt when they find out that you've cheated on them.
Exactly.
So make sure they don't find out. That's not. It's not
they
difficult
won't find
to
out.
cheat. Like it's not hard.
I
Like,
think what happens.
You have a higher.
I think
you're
honestly, the
you're putting
issue,
yourself
like,
at a higher risk of whether you say that you do all of these
So what?
things
But
to
we do
prevent
a
it. You're
lot of-
still at a high risk of
we
them
do a lot
finding
of
out.
things that give us
It
pleasure that
doesn't
put us at a
matter.
higher risk. Sometimes
Wick,
some of us
can I
will
ask
drive
a-
faster.
Yeah, you can. You can
Sometimes
ask.
some of us will drive
Okay,
faster.
Stop. FK, finish your statement, but then I have a $5 super chat to read, and then Doobie can ask his question. Go ahead.
Okay, we do a lot of things that put us at higher risk. Sometimes some of us will drive faster and it's like more dangerous, but it gives us like a little bit more of a boost and it might make us feel better through our day. It is what it is. I think like at the end of the day, this cheating thing, just people get greedy. People will do things that are too close to them and then they get fucked up that way. If you're going to do it, be smart about it. Realize there's a lot of consequences that can come out of this and do it in a way that like mitigates those consequences as much as possible, like we do with every other risk in our lives.
I just want to say that all the metaphors that any one of you have come up with about this whole cheating thing suck ass.
Well, the other metaphor that was used was a rape metaphor.
$5 from 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙. Is it still cheating if your partner is bisexual and cheats on you with someone of their sex with no emotional attachment?
Yes.
Okay. Doobie, go ahead if you have your question.
Yeah, okay. It's like I think this risk thing is really weird because it seems like the logical conclusion there is that I shouldn't have a friendship at all with anyone that I might be attracted to or might be able to like have sex with, right? So for example, I wouldn't be able to have a friendship with Ginger because I find Ginger to be an attractive person. If Ginger and I started hanging out and shit, my dog's going crazy. If Ginger and I started hanging out, there's a chance that I could become emotionally attracted to Ginger too, right? And want to leave my girlfriend for her. That's absolutely a possibility with any woman I interact with. So should I just never have a friendship with a woman ever?
No.
Because, there's a risk there that I might like fall in love and want to leave my girlfriend.
That's something that you need to assess in your personal life.
I'm asking you.
If you feel like you can be friends with the opposite gender, I have friends of the opposite gender, but my thing is, if you think that you're falling in love with them and you know that you are in a relationship, it becomes your decision to be like, hey, do I want to just not be their friend anymore because of the feelings and I don't want to start something, or do you stay? Like, it's up to you. And if you can push your
Yeah,
feelings
but
aside and
can
still
you see how this is putting your partner at risk? Because your decision to have a friend of the
no,
opposite
you're being
sex is now putting them at a
controlling.
higher risk.
That's
Now putting them at a
controlling.
higher risk. Now putting them at a higher risk of having their relationship broken up because you might fall in love with that person.
To be clear,
Like, why is it
to
that
be
risk?
fair, there are I've known a lot of people in relationships who do have a rule: you can't have friends with people of the opposite sex. I know plenty of people who have said, if you are with me, you can't have any guy friends, or if you're with me, you can't have any girlfriends, depending on, right? Like, I've had people not be my friend anymore, right, because their significant other wouldn't allow it anymore. Do we think that, for the anti-cheating side, is that an ethical kind of restriction to put on your spouse or significant other? Do you think that's
That's a
right?
red flag. That's a
So,
red flag, and that's controlling.
Yeah, I find that extremely controlling.
So putting that risk on your partner is okay then, because you
Wait,
choose
what
to have a friend
risk?
of the opposite sex. So, like I laid out, if you have a friend of
It's
the
a level
opposite
of
sex, your
trust.
partner's
It's not a
okay.
risk.
But
It's just
again,
having a level of
people
trust
can't.
within your
People
partner to
sometimes
understand that
can't
they're
control
not
their
going to go out and
emotions, right?
cheat.
So like,
I don't,
so I
what do you
can't
mean they
know
can't
when
control their emotions?
no.
What do you
Sometimes I
mean?
can't know when I become
You
friends
have
with
a
a person that after spending a lot of time with them, getting to know them, I might develop feelings for this person.
Well, if you
And
feel
that
that,
might
then
lead me
it's
to a
your choice.
situation where the relationship might break up, which would affect my partner. Right? So why is it okay to put them under that kind of a risk?
So, okay, by you being in a relationship with a woman and her having friendships with men, women, whatever, just like men in this situation, you're at risk of her cheating.
Yeah,
Is that what
more
you're
risk
saying?
than I'd be otherwise if she's just chosen not to be friends with someone of the opposite sex.
Well, yeah, I
Right?
mean, yeah,
Because
like
when she goes and
obviously,
hangs out
like if she's
with
gonna
her
be
guy
friends with
friends,
someone,
there's
if she's gonna be
absolutely a risk that she'll fall in love.
okay, if she's gonna like obviously like I'm gonna be under the assumption like, hey, you can be friends with this person, but as a level of respect, you're not gonna be like at home by alone with them or like solely only going out with them because yeah, then it may
That's
put that
controlling as
Wait,
fuck.
that look
you wouldn't let your significant other go to the movies with their friend?
alone with
Yeah.
just that one person and
Yeah,
it's
why
a
not?
Yeah, but if it
female.
was like
No,
a
I
high
would
school
feel
friend,
I have my boyfriend's best friend is female. They've been friends since college. He's in his 30s now. They go do stuff all the time. Like, and that's not an issue for me.
I agree.
I trust him. If he ends up stepping out with her,
why don't you
that's
like
still
it, Millie? Or like,
that's still
what's
his
your
bad.
I
worry
mean,
there?
in like a public outing, it's one thing, but in like a private setting of them being alone at the house, like if it's him and this female friend coming over alone at night, like I feel like that's really I guess to put it in
Controlling.
like a sus situation, right?
Why? It
I
seems
would
like you
say
just don't trust your partner
controlling
at that
and
point.
I would say setting boundaries and being controlling are two different things. Letting them not have
Yeah,
friends at all.
No, don't be
Letting
silly.
them Can you let me finish? Letting them not
I
have
guess you must.
friends. Letting them not have friends of the opposite gender is controlling, but setting a boundary in that is completely different.
Thank you, Peanut.
Question
Yeah,
for
I think
$5.
I think that this boundary is controlling.
For
I mean, you can't even
$5.
talk to other people.
For
Okay.
$5, because I want to
It can
explore
be
this more.
both.
I do want to explore this more, but $5, okay? Muda asks, is it cheating if your boyfriend/girlfriend uses a secret sex toy?
That's
Wait,
what
what
if
was
it
that
a
question?
doll?
Is it cheating?
Is it
If
cheating
your
if they use a toy?
boyfriend/girlfriend uses a secret sex toy
Oh.
and they don't
Why
tell you
is it
about
secret?
I don't
Like,
know.
Doobie, what
I
if
didn't.
you-
This
like,
isn't my
Doobie,
question.
It
You're
is really
paying me to
weird. Like,
ask
there's
this.
some weird sex
Doobie,
stuff
what if
happening.
you walked into your closet? What if you
without me knowing?
True.
Doobie, what if you walked into her closet one day and like a doll completely shaped like, I don't know, some random Discord user that you know, like Wildman, pops out?
Oh God.
Yeah, like at
I
that
would
point, do
think
you feel like that's
she has like
cheating?
some mental health problems that I wasn't aware of, and I'd break up with her.
Why
What
does
about
it
to
have
you
to be
guys? What if it was a
secret?
doll versus just a toy? What if it was like an actual?
I would have like been I think I'd be a little bit more shocked and like sit down and have a
Yeah, that's not
conversation
really
with them
cheating.
and be like, why didn't you come to me and talked about this? Like we maybe could have worked something out or like
What if
not
it's
like
a celebrity? What if it's a Hillary
Yeah.
Clinton doll? Okay.
Oh,
I feel like this
A
is really
Hillary
controlling.
Clinton
Like they
doll
need to
just
ask
falls
you
out.
for things like so. So for
No,
example,
please.
A
okay, so
relationship's
sometimes
work, it's
guys
a
just need to get off, and I'm sure
partnership.
this is the case with women too. Sometimes you just gotta get your nut
Honestly.
and move on, right? And sometimes, your hands are not enough. It's boring. You want something to get done faster, and it feels better.
Okay.
So, like, if I want to get a
control.
sex toy,
Okay.
right, if I want to get like an auto blow or something, why the fuck should I need to ask for permission to do that? Like, that's
Okay, but the question was
fucking
about the
controlling as
doll.
fuck to think that I would need to ask my
First
girlfriend
off,
for permission to do this.
Doobie, first off, the question was about a doll, right? And
So
like
you'd be okay
the
with the
reason
auto
I
blow?
would can you like just shut up for a second and just let me finish, Doobie? Like, god
I
damn.
apologize,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you. I appreciate your apology. I accept it. Anyways,
Hurry
the
the fuck up.
question was the question was about the doll. The reason why I would sit down and talk to them is because this is a big, massive expense. Have you guys ever seen those at the stores? They are expensive
I've done
AF,
extensive
right?
research.
What
Yeah.
if they got it used off Craigslist and it only cost them like $50?
Ew.
That's disgusting. That's just disgusting.
What if it was
Okay,
cheap? What if the
wait,
size was
wait,
fine?
stop.
You can
I have a
get
question now. I have a question now.
sanitized.
I have a question now. So it's the cost of it? Like, so if it could be made cheaply, if the technology advances such significantly that you can get these things for $5, right? Like, then you would have no issue with it?
I don't
I'll be right
care
back.
if they use a sex toy. It's just a fucking sex toy. It's not a human being.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So,
Yeah. I
So-
mean, I would if I have children around, I'd be like,
Well,
hey,
sure,
like, at least let me know so like they don't see this kind
I'm
of stuff.
assuming this is all like, so would it matter again if it's hyper realistic of someone you know, right?
You're asking questions that I don't think will ever apply to me, so I don't know the
Man.
answer.
Fair. No, it's
Could you
okay not to
repeat
know.
the question again,
Sure.
Mike? What
so
was it?
again, you find this doll. It's not Hillary Clinton though. It's instead your best friend. It looks exactly like her. Okay, it's $5 at Walmart. Okay.
Okay.
Is it unethical?
If they
Is there a
bought it,
problem?
if they bought it because if they got it and like edited it to look like your best friend, or they knew that it looked like their best friend, I would have a bit more of an
There's
issue
a
with that
bigger
because
issue.
if there's a
What if it's your
relationship
pet?
behind it that they're
Wait, what'd you
What?
say?
what?
What if it's a sex doll of your pet?
If it's an animal, then
That's
that's
disgusting.
Just, I can't
That's
say
not a
that
real
word,
animal.
but it's the B word, obviously, and that's disgusting. And I wouldn't want to be with someone that's
Wait, no,
into
it's
that.
not.
Yes, it
Like,
is.
come on, that's silly.
Personally.
That's it. Women that get like fucking horsecock dildos,
Yeah,
and
I
like
don't, though.
it's now it's wrong for me to like fuck a doll with a pocket pussy in it. Like, that's silly.
That's not what they were saying. He said an
It's
animal.
It looks like an animal, but you're fucking the animal. It's probably got some kind of pocket pussy in it, right? So like, why can't I do that?
What you do in
I'm
your
not
bedroom
going
with
into
your
this question
toys is
because I
your
can't
business.
speak on this
Doobie's
freely
out here to
because
bring the
Testicle
hamster
Johnson
question
for
back.
Like, this is
$11
just
for
so-
$11 has said, is it cheating for your significant other to use any toy? Only exception is if it's a mold of your penis. If she doesn't use your penis mold dildo, then she is for the streets. Hannah, you have some thoughts. Go ahead,
so
Hannah.
true.
I do have thoughts on this because I used to be in a long distance relationship and they have kits like that. They're called Clone-A-Willy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I personally don't think it's a problem to masturbate without your partner. I think that's actually a very healthy part of a relationship.
Here, let me pull mine out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's
That's just a hand.
beautiful.
It's molded after my hand.
He's beautiful. Does it have a name?
It does have a name in our group. It's Chuck's hand.
Did the anti-cheats for $5. For $5. $5.
Opportunity for us to get to the original conversation.
Well,
at hand.
hopefully. Muda Agarwal. They're giving me money. So let them give me money, okay? Muda Agarwal says
Quick money.
to anti-cheats. So the bottom half of the panel here. What is worse? Having emotionless sex with a sex worker, or having sex with a sex toy your partner doesn't know about.
Wait, what?
Which is worse?
So
having
which is worse?
emotionless sex with a sex worker versus having sex, or your partner having sex with a secret sex toy that you don't know about.
Obviously,
The
with
sex worker.
the sex worker, yeah,
Okay.
that's obviously worse.
There's a person. A sex toy is not real.
Okay.
What are these questions that are coming in from chat?
To Tina, in that situation, I would liken it to what my experiences were as a sex worker, because I was essentially just like a warm sex doll to these people.
What is the question? What is my thoughts on you?
So the question was in regards to having emotionless sex versus using a sex toy. And I would propose that in that situation, if you're having emotionless sex, then that person is essentially no more than a sex toy to them, right? They're just
Yeah.
using it for the purpose of their own pleasure.
No.
Wait,
No,
but you said earlier that you wouldn't have a problem with someone getting getting jerked off, or you wouldn't have an issue with a massage worker jerking a guy off, right? Like at a massage
I
parlor.
said I don't know.
You said
I
no.
don't know.
because
That
you're
was
getting paid.
Ginger. Ginger, you're mixing up the white ladies. Okay, I get it. Okay, but Ginger.
No, that
said
was
What
Peanut.
did I say?
No, I
No,
said
that was
I
Peanut.
don't know.
She said she didn't know at first, and then she said that it wouldn't be like an unethical because she's getting paid in a second service. And she said it would depend on the service.
Service, it depend on the service. That service, no. I would not be okay with my partner going to get a happy ending massage.
Oh, as far
Do you
as
think that the
this-
masseuse
I'm okay with
masseuse
it. I
would be
think
doing
it's
something
hilarious.
unethical?
What,
Do you think the
what am I
masseuse would be
gonna
doing? Do you think that the masseuse would be doing something unethical by jerking off your partner?
Would I say it's
No.
unethical? No, because it's their job, but I would still consider. I don't know. That's the thing. I'd have to think about it.
So okay, Peanut. So if someone's not getting paid for it, it's unethical. But if they're getting paid for it, it's not unethical. Is what you're saying?
I don't know. Like I really don't know.
I
I have to think about it. Let me think about it.
Okay. All right. Think about it.
It's making
Take
peanut butter
time.
over there.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So,
based.
FK, okay?
Yeah, what's up?
So you keep saying things like you would never cheat, you would personally never do this,
Yeah.
you would never engage in this, you would never need to, and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, make sure that you get in the part that he said he doesn't know unless he comes to that situation. He may change
to be
his
fair,
mind
like
later.
I'm saying, like I don't think I would ever, but like I don't know, right? I can't tell like what changes in me because none of us can tell. Like we all change constantly, so I might change in the future. I don't know that.
Well, you could say that about anything, right?
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I'm
assuming
saying,
you would
like-
say right now that you would never fuck an animal, correct?
Yeah,
But how can you say that with such assurance? We are always changing.
I
right?
can't.
Right?
I like there might be a point in the future where that just becomes something where it triggers some part of a brain that I
Okay,
can't.
so
I don't have control over.
There
I
is
don't
a
know.
world that you can imagine where you would do that.
There's a world that I can imagine where anything could happen,
Okay,
but
noted.
that's just based on kind of
There's a
how I
world
see the
out
world.
there with a horse for him.
Hey, no. Okay, look. FK. So my girlfriend, I find my girlfriend to be extremely attractive, right? Like physically, mentally, emotionally, like
What
everything.
if I
right?
put
think she's
her
an
brain
extremely
into your
attractive person.
dog?
However,
I'm kidding.
however, right? There are times where I see other women that even if they're like less attractive than her physically or whatever, right? I see them like, hey, I wonder what those boobs feel like. I wonder what that ass feels like. I wonder what it'd be like to fuck that person. And I wonder, right? Like, and that's totally okay. Now, I'm not. What I'm telling you is that there might be a day where you have those thoughts about somebody, and the opportunity arises to try it out, to actually feel it, to actually do the thing, and your girlfriend will never find out. You're not getting harmed. The other person's totally fine with it, and you might do it. You'd be absolutely tempted, and you might do it, and it might be totally fine. Okay.
I could say honestly, up to this point, I haven't, right? So like I might continue on that pattern. But I don't know, like it might happen. That's they're just whatever lines up and it happens.
Sometimes it's just curiosity. Okay,
I
that's
have
all
an
it is.
answer for Doobie's question.
Doobie,
So-
oh, sorry, go.
You can go.
I was gonna say, Doobie, to be fair for you, like, is it hard considering like you're in the intersection of beautiful women and mental illness?
It really is, actually. It's hard to tell the difference sometimes.
Noted. Okay, Peanut, what's your
hot
answer?
basic
Now
skill
that
is
you've
real.
thought
My
about it, now that
answer
you've considered
is-
it, go ahead. Give us lay it
it
on
is
us.
it is immoral regardless if it's a service. That's what I'm going to agree
Right.
on. So sex work,
Why is it
like
immoral?
with sex working with a married person, immoral. Sex work in general, I'm fine with, but if it's married and you know it, then it's like.
Yeah, but the majority of their clientele is married. Like, so
No.
Do
I
they have an
feel-
obligation to ask?
You're cucking like every single sex worker to be able to make money if they can't sleep with
yeah,
married
they
people.
would literally have to look at the hand and be like, nah. And then at that point, they would just hide their ring. Not to mention, they.
I'm not saying. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Hang on, guys. I didn't see his ring. I still
If
got to
you-
get paid. I still got to pay rent.
Right.
If you don't know, you don't know. I can't. That's really what it is.
If you
I
okay,
don't even think you should pretend not to see the ring. I think you should try to make more money by playing into that.
Yeah, like a special surcharge. Oh, you're a married person.
Oh, yeah.
You got to pay me an extra
The,
Oh,
$500.
yeah, get your
the
bag.
morality
Or
tax.
California.
A morality tax. I get it.
Privacy tax.
Drexel for $2. Are the non-cheaters terrified about realistic AI sex?
No.
what?
What the
Are
fuck?
the non-cheaters terrified about realistic AI sex?
I
Like the
like how
holodeck in Star
non-cheaters is
Trek,
said.
right? Like, so,
Disgusting non-cheater.
does that make sense? Okay, let me explain.
What?
You guys
Yeah,
ever watch Star
maybe.
Trek? You ever watch Star Trek?
No.
Okay, Star Trek, they have a thing called the holodeck, and the holodeck creates holographic images, AI thing, and it's a normal thing in that world for them to have lovers and stuff in this AI. They're not real, they're holographs, right? And that's considered a normal thing, right? Would
So
you, so the question is, are you terrified of that reality? Does that scare you?
No.
No.
I think again it would
Wait,
just make
Wick.
me like chuckle. Just
Look, this is like currently reality, right? Someone can go into what's that thing called? The virtual reality. Fuck. FK, what's it called? The virtual reality
VR chat.
thing.
VR chat.
You
VR
are
chat.
not sticking your
And
Bro,
there
finger
are-
they
in a
got a whole
physical
VR
person.
chat porn shit.
Listen. There are prostitutes in VR chat. People buy sex toys, right? That interact with each other. They connect them together across the web, and you're actually interacting with someone's dildo or with their fleshlight or something as masturbating together.
Bro, they got whole
and-
mouths.
And you have like a fucking like body thing on, so you can
Yeah,
feel
you got people.
the tremors. And,
Oh,
exactly.
God damn it. Don't
You
do
feel
it would
that.
You can feel
still-
the-
would
You
still
can feel the people,
Whoa.
right? You can hear them moaning in your ear and shit. Like they're like right there in front of you.
They're
It's
fucking
probably
weird.
some kind of cat girl, right? So like,
Yeah.
would you be okay with your partner doing that?
I
Fucking weird.
honestly, yes, it is really
I forgot the whole
fucking weird.
question.
I would
What is that?
I would feel bad for my significant other that they felt like they weren't getting enough in their real life to do that. And I would
Yeah, it'd
think
be
it
your
was
fault at the end of the day.
hilarious. I would think it was hilarious. Well, no, I would think like, why would you just talk to me about having sex more? Or
What if they
It's-
want to
it's-
fuck a horse girl or something, and you're not a horse girl, so they need to go somewhere else?
And they're fucking
Why
weird.
can't I be a horse girl?
I think in that case, if animals or kids were involved in any sense of the word, even if it was like animal dildos, I'm sorry, that's a
What if
hard
it's like
pass for
what if it's
me.
like an anime cat girl? Just like
Bro,
half
Bro, she's
animal.
trying to shut down Bad Dragon. I do not stand for this.
An
No.
anime cat girl. I mean, look, that's
If your
again.
partner was
That's
masturbating to
fine.
hentai, right,
It's
of like cat
just-
people.
Oh, I don't care.
What?
What?
Okay, so but if they're
Why
doing a
don't you care
VR
about
chat with like a cat girl, like suddenly
No,
it's a
I
problem.
That's you. Wait.
Because I think a cat girl or something like that. That's more of like a furry situation. I like again. I
It's
find
a cat
furries
girl.
kind of
It's a cat girl in
interesting.
this case doing anything ethically wrong. We've
Yeah,
hardly
this
ever
is
touched on
so
this,
far.
right? Is the
That girl's
cat girl
catching strays.
immoral? Okay, is the cat girl in this scenario immoral? Right? They're indulging.
this-
They're helping someone cheat. Right?
You're a
Is-
VR chat prostitute.
Is this an actual
okay,
person or is this like a hologram?
No, it's an
Yeah,
actual
the way,
person
the
who
way I
has.
thought was
Yeah.
a hologram.
So here's
No, it's a
here's
person.
to lay out the idea. It's a person
Okay.
who's using the VR system, right? And they're also
Uh-huh.
using special toys designed to like let them give the experience through like virtual or
Mhm.
through Wi-Fi or through the fucking internet, basically.
Yeah, if the girl's an
Yeah,
AI,
so-
like if it's an AI,
It's not an AI.
situation,
It's a real person controlling the
It's
character.
this is a real person situation. On the other end, and
So
you guys are both using
Yeah, VR chat
toys.
brothers are a thing right now. Like,
Yeah.
they do
Yeah.
it right now.
I think it's sad. And
Very
I would
sad.
I would
I think it's
chuckle,
sad at
but
all. It's
immoral,
pretty
cool. Still
immoral, I
unethical.
don't think that it's immoral.
Still unethical if they're aware that the other person is married. You're
Okay, so
engaging in a sexual
giving
relationship.
your
You
take
have
here,
more you
Millie.
have more problems.
Let me ask
than-
just real quick, Millie. I'll let you go real quick, but Millie, given that stance, if they know, then it's immoral. But if they don't, or if they're not married, then it's okay. That's basically your stance. Am I getting that right? Before I ask my follow up, is that basically your stance? Is that accurate?
Okay, are
That
you
if
saying they
someone,
don't know or
if,
that they
if,
what?
if one of these VR brothel prostitutes,
Uh-huh.
does not know that the person they are having sex with is married, or the person they having sex with is not married, you think that's totally fine?
If they don't know, then yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
not an issue.
given that's the case, is it immoral if they don't ask?
Personally, I would usually typically okay.
When you're in the
say,
situation, right? Do
like,
you ask?
if it was me, like I would ask, right? But I don't think it's there are situations where you don't really have to. You can have the assumption like, hey, you're coming into this place, like I can assume that you're single. But like a CYA situation, you just ask.
Well, that's the thing. If you are not asking, right, under your ethical system, you are making the chance that you're doing an immoral act like astronomically higher by not asking, which in itself, again, I would ask, is that immoral?
Yeah, this is where I said I would ask under
Fair
my
enough.
ethical system.
Fair
I
enough.
would ask. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, what do we think about that, gang?
What I
Yeah, I think
keep
it's
struggling with is that the people who find like the other person to be amoral, is that they are like proposing their own moral standards onto someone else.
And I can do that. That's
Don't
fine.
we do that everyday life?
That happens all the time.
No, I don't propose my moral standards onto anybody else. If I choose to be vegan, that's my choice. I don't denigrate someone else for not being vegan.
Yeah, it seems like you think that when you enter into an agreement with somebody, this somehow obligates everybody that might interact with you to also respect that agreement.
Yeah, I would
you're, like,
absolutely want somebody to
you're
respect
imposing
my marriage.
your decision to make an
If
agreement
somebody
on a
disrespects my marriage, then they can get out of my life, and I'm not going to engage with them. Point blank.
Period. Sorry, I had to finish that.
I don't
No,
see why
it's
that's
fine.
so wrong. If you're not going to
Okay.
respect me and my
Sorry.
relationship, then get the hell out of here. Like,
With
you don't deserve to be in my life.
We are circling the drain. Okay.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
You when you asked the question, my headset went out. So could you re-ask the question?
Okay, so I'm not sure if you have the same moral system as Millie does, but I'll just ask. I'll go down the line with you really quick. Do you think it's immoral for a sex worker to have sex with someone who is married? No. Okay, so then you're fine. Okay, the rest of the question doesn't work. Okay, gang, we are kind of circling the drain on this. Okay, we've gone through, I think. It's been an entire thing. I don't know if we are any better or worse for this, but 500 bits from Spicy Cannon Fodder to ask this makes me a little bit richer, so that's nice. And asks, why does the cheater have all the blame? Shouldn't some of the blame go to the partner that didn't fulfill their part of the contract?
So true.
Yeah, if that's the situation, yeah, marriages can be dissolved if they're not providing emotional support or whatever, or physical or whatever it be. You have a basis of leaving a relationship for that as well. So yeah,
Is that ethical to do?
If you feel your needs are not being met, it is
Nice
not
of you,
unethical to leave a relationship.
even if you've got children and it's going to
Even
ruin
if
their
you
life.
got children.
I think you should
Ruining
definitely
your
have a
lives is
discussion
staying
with
in an
Extremely
them
unhappy
prior.
marriage. Okay, I'm selfish. You've said this to
Wait,
me
you're
how
right.
many
Wait, no.
times?
Wait,
I
actually,
think we've established yourself.
small peanut, wait. Small peanut, you're right. Ruining their lives is staying in an unhappy marriage. And if it makes you happier to cheat and like not get caught, why not do it then?
You're so selfish. I just can't.
Okay. Thanks for coming by, gang. I want to give all these wonderful individuals a proper outro. So I'm giving a little time because I know a few of them have their own things they got to do really soon. But I just wanted to say thank you all for being here. Gang, if you're on YouTube and you like this content, or even if you hate it, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We do all these conversations all the time. We ask these questions. We have these discussions. I know a few of you were very mad that I even asked these questions, but you know what? I'm still going to do it. I'm sorry if you don't like that. These are questions that we're going to ask because it deserves discussion. On Twitch, follow if you haven't. Throw some bits my way. Give some subs. These are all ways to support me. I really appreciate you all for being here. But let's give all of these wonderful individuals an outro. And we're going to start with the anti-cheaters. And we're going to start with Peanut. And we're going to work our way around. Peanut, go ahead.
Well, thank you for letting me come on and speak my piece. Sorry that I may have been the selfish one. But you can find me at Only Small Peanut on Twitter. And I'm going to start streaming soon. So, yeah, look forward to that.
Check her out, gang. Only Small Peanut on Twitter. Give her a follow and be aware when she starts streaming, so you can go give her a follow there too. Miss Millie.
Yeah, hi. So closing statement. The pro cheaters, you guys are fucked, and you guys are you guys are terrible people. No, not really, but you're really unethical in this situation. And it shows too because you guys don't want to cheat. So I don't know if I think you guys really agree with your statements or not. Because if you're not willing to cheat and have this statement, I mean, like, do you really believe in it? But anyways, I'm gonna be doing a meme debate after this, you guys. So hop in on that. Small Peanut is gonna be joining us over there. We've got a great cast that's joining us. Ice Beans. We've got Stardust joining us for the meme debate. Scumbag. So it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be here in about like an hour. So I'll be live doing that. So come join me.
Well, thank you for coming onto this panel, and go check her out, gang. I don't know if you're going to get the questions such as, is it okay to have sex with animal sex dolls or not? But you might. I mean, you might, right?
Well, I mean, we did have the grower versus shower come up like one time. So like we get some risky questions in there. So yeah.
I was actually,
Miss
I was in the
Millie.
chat for that one. That was great.
Oh, you were? Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah,
Check it out,
Pulsars
gang, in just
and
a few
Rasputin
minutes.
did great.
Okay. Ginger, please.
Hello, I am 𝕵𝖎𝖎. Thank you again, Wick, for having me. That is 𝕵𝖎𝖎 with 2 R's in the middle, not just one. You will not find me with just one. I do cosplay, panels, gaming, all sorts of stuff. Tomorrow we are doing an all-lady streamer, stoned drunk game of Among Us. So drop in for that. And I'm also going to be discussing Connor's Counterpoint's last interview with Lav on Sunday with Connor. So stop by.
Check her out, gang. Ginger Ramoth, 2 R's, not one. You'll not be disappointed. Go give her a follow. Give her all the love and support. She deserves it. She's awesome. Okay, pro cheaters. Doobie, what do you think?
I think we established that the anti-cheating side is selfish, controlling, and just all around bad behavior. I think that most mature understandings of any kind of relationship dynamic, I can understand that like the sexual part of it is important, especially at the part at the start, but it's not the most important thing, especially if you're talking about like a lifelong marriage with somebody. Like I think that it's totally fine to find that elsewhere if you need it to keep the relationship together. My name is Doobie. I help run the politics server on Discord, discord.gg/politics. So it is the best and biggest politics server on the platform. I think we're up to like 76,000 people now. And we do lots of crazy shit on there all the time. It's a good.
Go check them out, gang. Check out, they got a lot of interesting interviews time to time. You should definitely give that Discord a follow. Lots of cool conversations. Go in and enjoy it and participate. Next up, Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah. Hannah Thing, you know me from chat and living in the walls of Twitch. I don't stream and I don't make content, so don't follow me. Follow Wick, give him money, support him, bringing us entertainment on a Friday night. My closing statement is just that I don't propose my morality system onto other people. I don't expect them to engage in the world that I engage. If someone is going to cheat, that's their business, and the person that they cheat with is not in the wrong because they didn't break a contract, they didn't agree to any contracts. And thank you so much for having me and chatting with me tonight, guys.
Hey, thanks for being here. Gang, I agree with her wholeheartedly in one thing and one thing alone. Give me money, gang. It's great. I love money. Money, 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 money. But no, we love having her on as a guest. Hopefully we can have her on more often. The Space Warrior, right? And check her out next time she's on my show. Yeah, that's all you can do. And say hi to her if you see her in all the chats that I ever go to. I happen to see Hannah thing chatting it away. So, give her a hello.
Hannah's amazing.
Everywhere. I'm in every chat.
True. Last but certainly not least, FK. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm gonna end it off with, like you said, I wouldn't cheat. Like I said, Albanian men never cheat. However, I can't control what other people do. If my partner cheated on me and was able to get away with it and be slick enough, and my marriage was going fine, I don't see where the problem is there. I guess I'm living a happy life where I just don't know anything. You could catch me anywhere at @JustAverageFK. Usually I'll be hopping around the politics servers. I stream now and then. You know, it's fun. Maybe one day I'll make it a career. I don't know. I like doing local politics, and I like just talking shit. Been on Discord since like 2016, and that's when I met 𝕵𝖎. And I host the AMA sometimes in politics.gg. So, you know, catch me everywhere. @JustAverageFK. Thank you.
Check him out, gang. Ginger, are you streaming after this or no?
Yes.
Okay, we'll right out into Ginger.
Thank
So
you very
make
much.
sure that you spam her chat with all my emotes, right? And make sure that you tell her, right, that this is a hate raid, because it is. So let's go.
Can I just wrap it up with like, this is a poem that I think is really relevant to the conversation. It's by one of my favorite poets of the time, Mario Winner. It's, I don't want to know if you're playing me, keep it on the low, because my heart can't take it anymore. And if you're creeping, please don't let me know, or please don't let it. Oh baby, I don't want to know. Oh baby.
Y'all are so
That was
selfish.
Wow,
I think
what
that's
a
beautiful,
what a
That was
poet.
absolutely
Keep it on
beautiful.
the
What a
line.
poet. Okay, on that note, we'll see you guys Monday, where we will be talking about I don't know what, but we'll be talking about it at 6 p.m. Eastern. So come and check us out. Bye.
Bye.
Bye to you.